What's up? Welcome back, everybody, to episode 70. We took last week off. We're back again today. I am who I am, and we have I am for I am with us. And then you are who you are, John. And the three of us are here. Gravity Crab will join us in a minute. We're going to have a little coffee meetup. If you're watching this, there's a website called Den.social, Den.social. And if you go over there and click on the layers button, there's a whole bunch of communities. One of them is called Coffee with Den. That's where we are this morning. There's a link in there to join. There's a post, episode 70. You can join this call if you want to. Come hang out, have a cup of Joe, a cup of John, a cup of Dave, and talk about space. So there's my intro, I guess. What's up with space? What did y'all do last week? What's going on now? Let's talk about stuff.
I clicked on this and I waited and I waited and I waited.
You've been here since last Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wow. I should have been more clear on the post, I guess.
No, you're clear.
So, yeah, we didn't do one last week because I had like a whole hour to spend with us, and we were like, I don't know if we can do that. So today we'll get 10, 15 minutes of them. And then we can get to the good stuff. So yeah, good morning, everybody. I had a thing and then I lost it. So I'm spacing out, I guess.
Yeah. That's what we're here for. You asked us a question and then it ignored it. You're like, hey, what
I was putting them on the table.
Yeah, and then you kept talking.
Yeah, they're still there.
Hey, what are your thoughts on space? What'd you do last week? I am can't make it for 30 minutes. What was I talking about? That's what happened. It was a phenomenal thing to watch.
Yeah, it was a brain dump, and then all that's in the hat, and you can pull from it. You can just do that. Speaking of Gravity Crab,
is he here? I feel like I haven't seen him ever. What's up?
Hello, everyone.
What's up?
How are y'all today?
Looking dapper, my friend. Looking dapper.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
I don't think I've talked to you since I beat Hogwarts.
It's wild. You know, I actually technically haven't finished it.
Same. It's like I still have the go to graduation quest.
Yep, didn't do that part.
And the game was disappointing.
Oh, absolutely. The end sucked through and through. Like it was like, hi, we're suddenly here. It's like, first of all, you can't apparate to a place you've never been. Just side note.
Yeah, it was just weird. I didn't like it. It felt
it fell apart. It was good up until about 75% of the way through, and then it just crashed.
I feel like it was like the Lego version of Elden Ring.
Lego Elden Ring.
That's probably about the best way you could put it, honestly.
I feel like it was I feel like they just took Fable 2 and then got rid of everything that wasn't sorcery.
Yeah, that's a good point. You can't. They got
and
rid
then
of all
also,
the marriages,
and then all the cool stuff in it. When you can like buy buildings, they got rid of all.
Now
I
want to play Fable.
Yeah, I want to play Fable 2 again. And hypothetically, there's another Fable coming out that's in the works. That should be out in the next this year, next year or something.
See, Fable was great because it's one of the few games that I've ever played where you could genuinely just straight up be evil, and people were like, hey, we don't like you, but you got to do these things for us. And it's like, yeah, I'll do that, but give me more money, and also I'm probably going to end your village at some point.
Yeah, that and like Fallout, where like you could actually be evil and it would matter. Like there's God,
I miss karma.
There's very few games that like are actually like that. And then it's weird that you could just start like killing people and nobody cares. Like
nobody gives a shit. They're like, this guy's good enough. I guess he can murder a few people and it's fine.
I'm a 17-year-old in high school and I'm just murdering everything. No big deal.
That's why parents are so against video games, huh?
Did you see that? Did anybody but me just watch Dave evaporate for a moment?
Yeah.
It's StreamYard. I was sharing my screen. It probably had an issue.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of cool, actually. Well, I'm glad I jumped in and we just dropped into a tangent.
That's fine because I just retweeted the show and I added Hogwarts and Metroid to it, so we're still on topic.
Metroid.
We're still on non-topic.
Yeah, we're still non-topic.
Metroid, as in like Metroid Prime.
I was playing Metroid Dread last night.
Is it good?
It's fucking good, man.
I heard it's really good.
It's good. It reminds me that my hand-eye coordination is not great, and that whenever I get scared, I twitch and freak out, and then that doesn't control the character very well.
Oh yeah, that has ruined me many a time.
Yeah, and it's very like sensitive to aiming correctly, like a game is. And but I like it. I played most of the first stage last night. We have a house guest for a couple of days, and she brought over her Switch and wanted to show off Metroid, and I'm glad because it was awesome. Yeah, and I've got a dock, so I threw it up on the big TV and have like the Pro controller. I never play my Switch for whatever reason. I guess because I'm a PC guy. But every time I pick up a game, yeah, I kind of did too. Actually, that's a lie. I bought mine for Splatoon 2. Do you know what Splatoon is?
Pretty good from what I've heard. That's actually you're almost on point. You are essentially just shooting blobs at the ground. Yeah. Your object, instead of like murdering everybody in a death match like on like Quake or something, you are painting everything, and the winner is who paints the most of the level. It's awesome. It's great, and kids can play it without turning into murderers. So parents love it. Oh my God, don't
That's like, I was thinking
not breed murderers.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, I don't believe that either.
In 2 minutes, and I just want to let Gravity Crab know that I got Mr. Hancock coming over for breakfast this morning. And
I honestly, if you've got him coming over for breakfast, give me a call. I wouldn't mind having a chat with him and just asking him why.
Why or
why would you do this to people?
Just one question: how dare you?
Yeah,
how dare you
pull a Greta on him? How dare you? How dare you?
All right, that was a nice thought.
Yeah. So, but no, Metroid's in space. That's a space game.
Oh yeah, did you see that whole beautiful flight of the starship? Wonderful flight where it sat on the pad and did nothing.
So I did.
To say, wait a minute, it didn't go anywhere.
It went nowhere. But I'm glad it went nowhere.
Better than destroying the chopsticks.
Yeah, don't blow the damn thing up. Also, it is the most ridiculous looking rocket I've ever seen. Like, jokes aside, it looks like a children's toy on top of like one of those like tubes that you get a light bulb in.
Yeah. It's close to me.
Insane.
It's close to me and very close to my son. I hope he's going to watch it.
I'm so excited though.
I was watching. I started to post it over in. Well, I did post it over in the. That's a render. I posted it over in the space tech, science and space tech layer, but then it didn't go.
I was watching it up until they were like, "No, it's going to be a wet run."
They had a stuck. They had a stuck valve. Here's a good picture. They had a stuck valve issue. There's a scale.
Yeah,
I forgot that it is
as
big as the Saturn V.
And when if you haven't gone, I highly recommend it. Go to the Houston Space Center and see the Saturn V that didn't take off. They have it in one building, all laying on the ground, covered in this building. It's just amazing how large it is.
That's cool.
Really neat,
I highly recommend you go visit.
We go
Space Center
to the Kennedy Space Center plenty, but I've never actually been to the Kennedy Space Center. I've always just gone and watched rocket launches. Mm-hmm. I've even had an annual pass.
We
twice,
should do that. It's a blast, honestly.
That I never used. Yeah. Because I bought my first annual pass to Kennedy Space Center right whenever everything locked down and closed in Florida. And so then they were just like, yeah, we're not open for like a year or so. And so it expired, I guess.
Hey guys, I got to go.
Okay.
Another appointment, but I want to leave one thought with you all. I'm a little freaked out on the AI thing. Did you see Elon Musk's interview with Tucker? And I've been messing with ChatGPT too. It's really cool.
No, but I've been watching some academic talks about GPT-4, specifically from a dude who now works at Microsoft. That's who bought it, right? Microsoft, yeah.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's speculation it will become the third largest company in the world in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's interesting.
It's left leaning. I'll say that.
It's definitely the closest thing I've ever seen to convincing me that it's like the beginnings of AGI, the artificial
Yes,
general intelligence
too.
thing.
Yeah.
The guy that I was watching, I forget his name. I'll have to look it up and post it over in the AI layer once I remember. There's a good talk, and he had access to GPT-4 before it was launched like publicly, and apparently that was when it was more powerful than it is right now, and they actually removed and gimped it because, like, for safety, they made some safety decisions where they made it dumber because before they went public with version 4, it was actually
horrifying.
better than version 4 is now that you can see publicly.
Right.
So it's like, oh, that's okay. All right.
That's not good. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. Not plugging Tucker Carlson at all. Just go watch Elon Musk's interview. I highly recommend it. So he says he's going to start a third option just because we need a third option because it's programmed thinking in one direction.
Yeah,
and, it's pretty scary.
He started OpenAI,
right?
But OpenAI is no longer open.
Yeah, and they split.
And so, like, yeah, how do you?
He called him a speciesist.
A speciesist?
Yes, he says, "Yeah, I'm pro-human. I'm a speciesist."
That's true. He is.
What else would I be? And then, the other guy called him a bastard instead. So he said he left, and they haven't talked since.
Since
good interview.
Since I've first started reading about like his like the shit he's doing and why years ago, he's always been talking about the same thing. He's always had the same goal, which is to help the human species not kill itself, not die, So he's got a single goal, and he always has. It seems like it's not that he hasn't deviated from that. So that's interesting for sure.
Well, I hope you enjoy my artwork on my post too. That was all me. There was no AI involved.
Yeah, I'll go check it out here in just a minute.
Catch you later, guys.
Right, have a good one. Cheers, dude. Have you played around with it much, John? The AI stuff? I know we've
a little bit here and there. I think some of it kind of freaks me out, so I don't want to mess with it too much. And then also it's hard. I feel like a lot of them are like pay to play kind of shit. I'm like, I don't want to pay.
It's a business. Yeah, that's the thing.
The art ones I've used have been pretty, like I haven't really liked them. Although some article came out that some photographer admits prize-winning image was generated by AI. So somebody
a lot of it comes down to how much time you want to spend on like tweaking your query to have different results and stuff like that. And now GPT-4 can take existing images and then build on that instead of just having text input. So it's going to get a lot better.
I was
depending on your idea, better.
Yeah, I was thinking it's I feel like it's going to be like the next 6 months. It's just going to be the weirdest shit. And I'm either going to love it, or I'm going to go buy a cabin in the woods and hide from the world. Because AI generated shit and not knowing what's real, television and everything else is just it's so weird. I don't like it. And it's kind of weird.
It's an application that I didn't fully expect either, because it's where it's really exciting and useful is making fusion work, cold fusion, for example, right? There were some enormous advancements based on AI with fusion because of I'm not a physicist, but they had an issue with basically forming a beam of plasma or something, focusing it. They couldn't reliably focus it because it was fluctuating too quickly, but they threw an AI in to control it in real time, and it was able to make calculations fast enough to control this beam to where it was safe. And not only did it do that, humans were having a hard time making one focused beam in a loop, but they apparently got an AI to do it, and it was able to make not just one focused beam, but split it into 3 independent beams in a triangle, like a rope with fibers kind of thing. Yeah. So the exponential advancement, things that we can't pull off quickly, it's able to pull off really quickly. So it might bring in things like fusion. It might bring in things like, I don't know, making the starship more reliable or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's the stuff I expected. Juicy J, good morning. This happened to be sitting on my desk because I just finished it. But speaking of AI, I just finished this book called Autonomous. You okay over there? Me call
Oh
an
yeah.
ambulance.
Shit. I thought I muted my mic. Sorry.
It's all right.
I thought I muted it. Yeah. The back of my throat got a little crispy.
Yeah. I just read
Autonomous?
this, man.
Well,
And let me tell you, this is the most terrifying book I've read in a long time. It is
about real shit.
It's real shit, dude. It's fiction. It's 2144, right? So it takes place between 2120 and 2144. So it's like 100 years off, a century out. But man, is it not only plausible, but you ever read stuff like you know who William Gibson and Neil Stephenson are? Some of the like most like famous like dystopian cyberpunk writers.
I've read a lot of like realistic fiction, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, those are my two favorite authors, and both of them have quotes on the cover of this book, which I thought was a pretty big get.
That's cool. And that book came out in 2017. It's not even like a recent book.
Yeah, right. It's relatively recent, but
yeah.
Anyway, so what I wanted to say was this is not too much of a spoiler or anything, but it's about AI and robots, and it's weird. It talks about so there's slavery in 100 years. There's human slavery is legalized. Basically, you can sell slaves, and the reason for that is something I haven't seen before. The reason in this story is that artificial intelligence became so good and self-aware that it got rights, that it had rights assigned to it, like human rights kind of thing.
Yeah.
But because there was so much of an investment required to develop and build AI robots and stuff, there was the law that was passed gave robots rights, but it also allowed them to be owned and indentured, or optionally given an autonomy key where they can be autonomous. So they could basically earn their autonomy, but it allowed them to be indentured first, since it was an investment to build them in the first place, right? So it was like a capitalist reasoning for, hey, the incentive for developing these is money. Let us make money, and then they can be free. So that got passed into law. And then, since the robots were recognized as sentient and given human rights, well, if they're allowed to be indentured, why can't humans be indentured by the same logic, right? So it was a little bit of a slippery slope argument, but that's what ushered in legalized indentured slaves, basically, where you could own people. And that's the world that exists in that book. And I was thinking, like, wow, that's actually like a logical, scary possible outcome based on how we see laws being written and stuff.
Yeah. I don't like it. Nah, man, the world's scary. Especially right now. But
yeah,
it's
you don't take your jabs.
So like you're good with like this chat, like you're good with the AI stuff, right?
I like it. It's interesting. It's sooner than I thought.
So I was thinking about it. What if we were able to? So you know how last week we were working on that D&D thing?
Yeah.
What if we used that to create? I'm curious. So like I've drawn out like a map, and I've got all my factions and everything figured out. But I was wondering what like an AI would create for that.
That's interesting. Yeah.
That's spooky. Are we using AI to do fun things that we should just use our brains for?
Yeah, like I've already done it.
Sound like such an old man.
But I'm curious what it would be. Like I did it. Like I've already done it. But I'm curious what like an AI would create.
You want to know if the computer does better?
Yeah.
I think John's more interested in seeing like what ideas it would come up with that it might not have thought of.
Yeah.
He wants to know if the computer's better than him so we can fight it.
Yeah,
basically
silicon-based life form, essentially.
I'll win because I'll just
don't put it like that, Dave. That's wrong. No.
But like that, and then also like
I haven't thought
for
about
like little
that before,
things. It's
damn
like,
it.
oh, if I can plug in my world into it, then it can give me like art for a weapon or something, like
Unlimited side quests.
yeah. And just really like kind of like all the graphic-y shit that I don't have time to do quickly. Like I can do all that stuff, but it's gonna take me so much time. So for something
Yeah.
that like doesn't really matter, like you're gonna see the picture for 5 seconds. Like it really doesn't make too much of a difference. But then it makes me feel better for not stealing other people's artwork. I just have an AI generated.
Yeah. I mean, it feels better for you. But as I am for I am points out, this is like and not just white collar jobs, but creative jobs, I guess, right? Because that's the thing that's the big surprise to me, is just like I didn't expect it to come for the creative jobs so quickly, the creative tasks.
It's gonna wipe out like yeah, that's like the scary part, right? But like to me, like it's not gonna be as good. Like everybody that uses AI to generate content, that I talk to like a lot of people that actually use it right now for their jobs all the time, like for big boy jobs too. And they're like, I use it and then I edit it and fix it. You know what I mean? Like nobody's posting what the AI writes.
I've seen
using it to
very
get
commonly
started.
people use it for checking their programming. Like they have an idea of how, when you write code, you can write it a bunch of different ways. And so they'll write what seems like the best way to them. And then they'll basically task the AI with, hey, what's the benefit of doing it this way versus that way? Is it more efficient computationally to do it a different way than what I'm doing to get the same result? And that's where people are finding a whole lot of success. Or like you said, getting it to generate something to start with, and just a starting page.
Well, we were talking about like for creatives,
Yeah.
I feel
Well,
like
programming is creative too. It's part of it. It's the same kind of thing.
I feel like over time people are going to be like, oh well, let's just do it the AI way and save the money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
there was,
and then I think then our quality, the quality that we set for ourselves is just going to lower and lower and lower until the AI is just generating like TikTok content and that's it. You know what I mean? Like it's, to me, that's kind of like what like TikTok and like YouTube and stuff have done. It's great because it lets people produce their own stuff, but then also there's so much content and we're able to binge content that's just garbage. If you watch like TikTok and YouTube sketches and shit like that, like they're not good by any means. And they're like, oh, I enjoy this and watch this. It's like, we'll go to a theater and go see the stuff that's being put up there, and not just this crappy 30-second soundbite or these crappy like 3-minute videos. That's just like, I don't know.
Because some people's jobs are literally like, think about how much time it takes to watch everything and then pick out sound bites and interesting clips and relevant things. You know what I mean? If you can have an AI, like this is from 2020 here, but this is how long ago they started doing it, and they're just ramping up from there. Giving it a database of stuff to say like almost instantly, here's the clips that relate to the story you're saying that you could use as a prop or something like that.
Yeah. But like I don't know. I feel like our bar for what we want is just going to get lower. It kind of like how like fast food quality just got worse and worse, and like or just food quality in general. Like
I agree with you on that. It's the more I would say the more efficient you make something with a capitalistic focus, the less unique and interesting and maybe quality, depending on your definition of quality, it is. And fast food's a good example of that too.
Just
are you trying to tell me that a Big Mac is not a quality food product made with care and love?
I think it depends.
I used to make them.
Did you really work at McDonald's?
I did, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I basically crawled out of the forest and had to start somewhere. That's my life. Like I literally grew up in the woods.
Where you grew up. Yeah, you genuinely grew up. It was gorgeous. Like the place that your mom's got is gorgeous, but genuinely, like you grew up in the woods.
Well, no, that's Fort White. Fort White is a town.
You grew up somewhere more woodsy?
I grew up in Gilchrist County. There was no city or town.
Oh, good God.
I grew up in the woods.
My perception of your location growing up is warped.
And so like squirrels for dinner, woods.
Oh my God.
You know, squirrels and catfish. Anyway,
you were going to fish with that. I was real worried.
Anyway,
squirrels
yeah,
and
McDonald's would hire anyone and would pay enough for fuel and car insurance. I bought a car for $800 and needed money to pay the insurance and gas. You work up from somewhere, and part of that was making Big Macs. So even though he's not here anymore, he just stepped away. The answer to is a Big Mac made with love and care? No, it's not. It's really not.
I'll say it depends on who's making the Big Mac.
Yeah.
Stepped away or not, I could still hear you.
If it was me making the Big Mac or anybody I've seen making a Big Mac,
no is the answer.
No, it never has been. But
never was, always has been.
On that note, though, we also need that. I'll argue that we need that for.
Didn't you tell me about a Big Mac index once or something?
Oh yeah, that's a thing too.
Index that's insane or some shit.
I was going to say we need that for space travel, though. We need that for Mars colonies. We need that for things that, like, in the beginning are going to be survival. We need technology that produces boring, stupid food that does the job efficiently. And we can actually pull from things like fast food driven by capitalism to make that happen. Even though it's not like elegant or exciting or enjoyable, right? That's the kind of thing.
Food.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you combine that with AI, so you don't need a crew of 100 people. You need a crew of 5 people, and then you have a bunch of AI that takes care of all of your stuff. What's the word I'm looking for? Basically like an intern, right? Interns.
See, we did this once. We have a great film about this, and it straight up just eventually tells things that can't do things.
2001,
you
mean?
That's the concern. Yeah, I'm sorry, Dave. I can't let you do that. You see, that's terrifying. Also, I've devolved to computer repair while on the show, so bear with that.
Yeah, I know that's a good idea. Stop leaving to go to work. That's dumb.
Yeah, be efficient.
This is what I would do.
Oh yeah, this will be fun. Efficiently changing this goddamn thing.
We
carry on.
Hey, speaking of this machine you gave me a while back, I finally got around to messing with it and put it in an SSD and this this ancient T500. So
hell yeah, I've got a stack. Fun. I've got a stack of 60 gig SSDs, by the way, if we need SSDs for stupid projects like that.
Cool.
Maybe a bunch of stuff got recycled the other day, and I was like, oh, sweet, a whole bunch of desktops are coming in because I have no damn desktops to save my life right now.
Yeah, a 37 disk RAID 0 array for gaming. Sounds perfect. It'll fail in 3 seconds, but
that sounds
it'll
kind
be
of fun.
Really fast.
Let's tie together a bunch of old SSDs. Damn, that sounds like a blast.
So how do we get to space?
Well, you see, it's that way, and essentially you have to start like this, and then there's like a gravity turn you've got to do to make sure you can fight the atmosphere.
I mean, I've played Kerbal Space Program. I get it.
You ever hear of
I love KSP. I love ketamine. Wait, what?
You ever hear of ketamine?
No.
You know,
I mean, like the drug.
That's how you get to space.
Yeah, I've never taken ketamine before. I've taken a lot of drugs.
I've been considering doing like a heroic dose of LSD recently.
I'm trying to think if any of them have made me feel like. I guess so. Yeah, there's been a couple of like space things with drugs. That's a thing. I was gonna say I've never actually like thought I was in space or felt like I was in space, but now that I think about it, yeah, I have. So that's one way to do it.
I don't know if I've ever been in space mode before. I would like to go to space mode one of these days. That'd be fun.
I just think.
Also, yeah, I guess we're just talking about drugs on the show now. So,
yeah. Well, no, I mean, yeah, but
it's just our MO. Okay, listen, it's coffee. What do you expect?
But space in general, man. I think probably one of the reasons I've been to space on drugs is because my brain already thinks about space, so it's easy to like.
I spend so much time just thinking about things that we could do in space and how much cooler it would be if we'd been born in this actual space age instead of just the budding beginning of it.
Yeah, 500 years in the future.
Yeah,
I had
which
a-
is
I
kind of
used
cool,
to-
honestly. I'm kind of happy that I'm seeing the actual like budding beginnings of a space industry as opposed to like the mid 60s version, or it's just kind of neat to witness the history.
Compared to how it was written about, in like the golden age of science fiction versus
Oh, yeah.
how it really is working out.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I just love that we did need one ship to look like it was a science fiction ship. So Elon was like, I got you, and made the Starship thing. So, I mean, I doubt he did it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's just such a oh, that's not the browser I thought I was in. Dang it.
That usually goes bad for people.
Well, no, it ain't like that. It's just such a huge
Like,
space.
what is it? I want to see it. Like, how can I touch all of it? What does it mean?
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah.
You know, my favorite theory is, and I don't know if I'm sure other people have this theory too. It's not something I came up with because I'm not smart enough for this. But I like to think that like if we were able to take like a look at everything we have and like zoom out, we're just like a speck of like bacteria or something on a coffee table, and that's like what we see as space. It's just all of the other things. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're talking about it's the Men in Black phenomenon, dude. We're really just
Oh, that's right. We're in a marble. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
we're in a
Actually, we're in a
marble.
cat thing.
Our galaxy is a marble, and we're being kicked around by Slender Man.
I
Whatever the
forgot.
fuck
I
it
haven't
is.
seen Men in Black in so long. I should probably I should do
It's
that.
such
It's
a
been a
good
while.
movie. The Noisy Cricket. Oh, it's so good.
I thought it would be a good idea to show that movie to my grandma when I was like 12, and it was not a good idea.
I think
I also did that with Revenge of the Nerds, and that was a worst idea.
I quote that movie way more than I should. But the line I always quote is just, it has nothing to do with like aliens or anything. It's just the person, people are stupid. The person is smart and intelligent or something like that.
I quote this
People-
crap all the time.
the
The
person
person is smart.
smart,
People are
but people are
dumb,
dumb,
arrogant, and easy to control.
No, it's dumb, stupid, dangerous people. Is what they
Something like that.
Yeah, or dumb,
It's
stupid,
Tommy Lee
dangerous,
Jones being awesome. Essentially.
or dumb, stupid, dangerous people, and you know it. That's the line.
Well, I guess those are the
it's
easiest to control and manipulate, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's the idea that a
Humans.
mob is easy to control, but a person by themselves is smart and can figure things out.
Mob mentality is crazy.
Mob mentality is
Like,
stupid. So the person is smart, people are stupid.
what is Dave trying to hurt our brains right now?
No, I'm just letting this play while we talk about space. This is
I
just
love
some
it. This is so
random
good.
random YouTube video I found of a space fly through that starts on Earth and then just starts zooming out, that kind of thing.
Hell
Is it
yeah.
supposed to
I
be
love stuff like
fun?
that.
And this is the kind of thing that I don't know. I'm not the only one of the three of us that just occasionally tries to put myself in a perspective of like the grand scheme of things, right?
Oh god, I do that all the time. Which
don't.
isn't good. I'm sure
Why-
it's probably
that
not
sounds-
good. It's probably why we have like anxiety and like other existential problems.
Well, I think also like I don't do that, and I still have
That's a good point, actually. John doesn't do that, and he's still broken.
Yeah,
It's not. I think it's the
Thanks.
opposite, Dave. David, I think it's
Right
the
there with
opposite a
you,
little
bud.
bit because I'll get so bogged down and sort of like in my own head about and stressed out, right? I'll get so stressed out
Mm-hmm.
about stuff. But then to think about the perspective of like in the grand scheme of things, how important is this thing that you're so stressed out about to the point that it's crippling your ability to function? And if you
Okay.
think about it that way, it's like, okay, I'm really like, I don't need to stress out this much about it. It is important, but it's not important to the scale of like ruining my day kind of thing. Right.
yeah.
So maybe that's just like an exercise that I do that brings me down from being too stressed out. But I like just visualize space. There's this meme. There's a particular meme that is like censored on social media and stuff, like Twitter and Facebook and the big ones that have automated like fingerprinting of images to censor them. and it's just a picture of. Well, here I'll just bring it up.
Yes, explain a meme to me while we watch space.
Let's just explain it instead of looking at it.
I feel like we're going at light speed, like Star Wars or something.
Yeah, it speeds up and then it's just it's warp speed. Yep. I gotta find it. I'm gonna use DuckDuckGo, which means it'll take me a little bit longer to find it, but I'll feel better about it.
This is spooky. What's all that shit up on the top? It's a galaxy
YouTube
dust or something.
It's a URL bar.
No, not that. Like it looks like there's clouds in the video. Don't be a mean face. I'm making D&D for you guys.
How do I find something that's censored?
Just type in what the meme is.
I did. It didn't work. It didn't work.
Are you sure it's real?
Yeah.
This book is $1.50.
What is?
Autonomous.
Buy it. It's one of the best books I've ever read in my life.
It's $1.50 for the hardcover. The fuck? Used. Oh, that's for used. I gotta look at the quality of it. Gotta get rid of that acceptable.
Well, maybe I don't show it. But all it is an image. It's a photo of the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah.
And it has an arrow pointing to like one of the stars here. It has an arrow pointing to a star on the arm of the Milky Way galaxy that we're on, and it says, "You are here paying taxes to pedophiles." That's the whole thing. That's all it is.
That's funny.
And I was just like, "Yeah, all right. That's like one way to look at it." And
wait,
be reminded
what?
Talking about.
I came back, and that's all I heard.
We all know what you're doing, David. You're here
Jesus,
paying taxes to credophiles.
But if
To
you
credophiles?
To credophiles.
I like credophiles.
Credophiles.
They're just people that have chronic credit card debt.
It's a real thing.
It's literally just an image with of the Milky Way with text and an arrow on it. That's it. But it's like you can't post that. It's weird. It's just weird. Like the same thing with all the books that are getting banned, by the
that's been
by the
fun.
right. It's just weird to see like what's picked for censorship. It's like that's what you're worried about, that kind of thing.
Oh, actually, that gives me an idea. Segue into the did you look up the library thing I was telling you about?
No, what do you mean?
Look up the uncensored library. It's awesome. Some
talking about
built
Minecraft?
this shit. Yeah, some people built this shit in Minecraft. Because like in all of the countries that have major censorship, you can still play Minecraft and download a map.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have this map downloaded, there's all kinds of like they have partnered with some journalists who are basically pumping stories to them so they can put them into a Minecraft book.
That's interesting. So it's organized and pretty pro.
It's pretty neat. I checked it out the other day, and there are 100. It's like 180 countries are in there, and you can go up to each flag for these countries in this really nicely built. I like Minecraft a lot, so I give the construction of this place points. It's really well done, like excellent builders. Yeah, so each of these flags you can go up to. I'm pointing at my screen, and
He's here.
Behind it is a book, and you can look at that, and it will tell you like the basic censorship laws and rules of that country, and it will even give you like a 1 out of 180 of like what number you are. Is like what number the country is. Like 1 being, I think, the Netherlands for the least censorship, and like 180 being North Korea. We're number 70. It's 47, by the way, is what we are.
47 down the list.
47 down the list, yeah.
On most, what's one is the most?
One is the most openly free, and 180 is the least. So we're okay.
I got you.
As
47.
This is wild.
As the place that touts freedom, I don't know if we're quite
We are.
I don't know if 47 is really the number we want to be.
Yeah, it was a little bit
that's not the
shocking. Even as somebody who knows that, like, we live in a fucking fantasy about that stuff. But, like, yeah, 47 still struck me as weird. I was like, oh, shit. That's.
You know how
it's cool. It's even in
Minecraft.
a bunch of different languages.
I feel like games like Minecraft and just like metaverses in general it's related to space because it's kind of like another dimension that you can
It really is.
travel in. right? Like we weren't built, we weren't born 500 years in the future, so we can't do base reality space travel, but we can do stuff like video games and drugs, like we talked about earlier, and we can travel that way. So the experience is it's like
Is
the closest
almost
we
the
can get,
same.
you know. And you can mold it. You can build it, which is interesting.
I just want to point out Minecraft is well over 10 years old now, and it's still one of my favorite games to just screw around in.
Yeah, it's from the original when it was built in a week, and
I got
you could buy
screwed.
Oh yeah,
You bought me Minecraft, if you
Oh,
remember.
I
Yep, you
remember
purchased
we
me
had a
Minecraft.
server.
Yep, and you bought me the game because you were just like, stop having a pirated copy if you're going to be working for me and doing server stuff. So you bought it for me, and I was one of the people that, like, when they had a major data loss, they lost like 60 or 70,000 accounts, and they just said, too bad, so sad. So I refuse to ever buy Minecraft again, even though I've never bought it before, technically.
I've got that for Kerbal as well. I've got an old Kerbal license, and I got an old Kerbal for Linux, and I got an old Minecraft.
I've got an old
or perpetual licenses for any
I-
updates in the
I've
future.
never
I've got an
even
old license for Mountain Blade from like 2007.
I've never seen the game in person.
Wait,
Minecraft.
Kerbal Space Program?
Minecraft.
Are
And
you
I-
just fucking kidding me?
I've never played it. I've never even seen somebody play it in front of me.
Well, you
I've
just saw
seen
it for
like
the first time.
Twitch, but I've never seen it.
Oh,
Well, like
okay.
I've seen it like on my computer watching something, but like I've never been in the same room with somebody playing that game.
Gotcha.
We should
Gotcha.
play Minecraft then. That's so it's
Well, we got a layer that's unused that could use a server, and you've got a
Right.
building behind you that you could
full of
host
computer bits. Yeah, I
that-
know. I could host a server.
that you could host a server in. And you just said you've got a bunch of spare SSDs, so you could make
Oh
it.
my god, we could have so many different worlds.
Well, I was going to say use them for caching so it performs well. But yeah, that.
When I'm just thinking about different like all kinds of mod packs running. I should not bog down the internet with servers, but I think I'm going to.
So we basically got talking about inner space instead of outer space.
So I'm ready for space though.
Virtual
Like, I mean,
space.
I'm so excited for what time is the launch tomorrow? Is it like 8 something? 9
Is it for
something?
sure tomorrow?
They moved it to tomorrow.
That's perfect. I knew that they were going to do that. There's no way they weren't going to have a problem with a valve freezing on the Starship on the 17th and not delay until 420. There's no way they weren't going to pick that day.
I didn't even think about that. Damn it.
Do you guys have any 420 plans?
Not
be here.
yet. Not yet.
I don't either. I just know I have to wait until noon at least, because of the show tomorrow. So I'm trying to figure out what to do after. So we'll see. What the? All right, this is a rocket.
Yep, they
Yep.
are set for 9:28 in the morning.
Are you gonna go see it?
Interesting. It's in
No,
Texas.
It's in Texas. So no,
It's a little
I wish.
far. It's a little far.
I'm
Yeah,
damn
I
sure
am-
gonna watch it though.
It's
That's
at
gonna
the. It's. I don't think we have any denizens that are close enough to just swing by and check it out. And even
Would you
Jacob Wayne and I Am for I Am are a little bit north of, like, far away from there.
So in terms of like historic space flight, would you consider this like Apollo level of a historic test flight? Because I mean, yes, right?
Yeah,
This is like a
This is-
double
this is
stage
the-
reusable rocket.
yeah. This is
That
the
looks insane from the underside, by the way. That 37 engine cluster, 33
Yeah.
engine cluster is fucking wild.
Yeah, I posted a shot of that actually.
I had never seen that until I was watching I've intentionally not looked at a lot of Starship information just so I can be this excited about this crap.
Oh yeah,
And
you treated it like an upcoming film with no.
I did. I was
spoilers?
like, I don't want to. That is insane.
Yep. 33 of them.
That looks like a weird alien with like a bunch of nipples or something.
Octopus, like sucker
Yeah,
things.
A bunch
Yeah,
of
yeah.
suckers, that's what it is.
Suckers.
Yeah, that's cool though.
I do think it's foundational, though. I do think it's something that's like it's a reusable rocket, right?
Yeah.
It's the first spaceship, because everything else has been, except for the, like, I guess the capsule that comes back and splashes in the ocean with people in it. Everything else has been, let's spend billions of dollars on a rocket that goes to space, and then we throw it away every time and build a new one the next time we want to go.
Yeah.
Like this has been a talking point beat to death by now, but it's still valid, which is what if every time you had to fly on an airplane, like a commercial airliner, you had to build a new plane for it? It would be exponentially more expensive and less useful, I guess, right? So this is one that comes back, you can reuse it. And not only can you reuse it, it's supposed to be rapidly reusable, meaning you do some some checks, give it a quick refurb, and then it's ready to go again, and you can stack it back up.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. It's going to replace
airplanes.
It's going to replace my favorite rocket, which is the Falcon Heavy. Because it can the Falcon Heavy is awesome, but Starship's going to be able to do it way more efficiently and with bigger payloads. It's going to improve Starlink. You're going to be able to put bigger Starlink satellites up.
Yeah. My favorite rocket is the Enterprise. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that one's good.
It goes nuts. I just thought about it, man. Like Enterprise, that sounds like a corporation. Starship, fucking Amazon right there. Go attack the universe.
I mean, it's an American named ship, so it's a capitalistic name, right? It's a new Enterprise.
That's true. I want to do something cool. We should do something cool on this show today. Like, I don't know, man. We should do something cool. Like, is there like a kick-ass game or something?
I mean, there's always No Man's Sky.
Yeah, but we can't like stream that right now. You know what I mean?
Why not?
Like, I feel like because I don't own it. First of all,
there's that.
I still need to buy that. I keep going. I'll buy it. When I when it's on sale, then it goes on sale and I don't buy it.
Are we talking about Star Trek now?
No, man.
We were talking about the Enterprise,
but we did.
We're going to talk about. I love that.
We were talking about spaceships. Basically,
that's the refit of the Enterprise. That's the A from the movie.
What was I going to say too?
What's your favorite starship? His is the Enterprise.
I was joking. It's not really the Enterprise. It's not really the Enterprise.
Well, don't lie.
I mean, it could be. I mean,
it's not.
Of the Enterprises, which Enterprise is best?
I'm not gonna lie. I think battle cruisers are pretty freaking cool from Star Wars. Those things are stupidly big.
The Enterprise D from like the Next Generation is the coolest Enterprise. Side note,
like that, like a starship is like the size of a fucking city or a state. Like,
battle cruisers are huge.
Yeah, like
I love how they're
all the people on that.
I love how here's something that I'm curious if AI could ever do, which is, I mean, I say ever, eventually, sure, but think about like even just Star Wars, the number of ships in Star Wars that are fully designed, conceptually named, classed, have a whole backstory of what company created them, like an entire universe.
You mean all that stuff
lore,
that's non-canon now?
Regardless of like who bought it and changed things, the creativity and just the sheer density of lore that's involved is so freaking impressive to me. You know, like somewhere out there you could probably bisect these two ships and there's a whole like layout of how they work inside and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I mean,
and even if that's not canon, and even if that's not official,
you can buy like deck plans for these things.
It's partially based on how people think about space and space travel and like how things would be done in the future. So yeah, it's definitely something that has captivated humans for a long freaking time. Favorite spaceship.
I have a feeling ours might be the same.
It's funny. I asked that question to both of you, and I didn't start thinking about it for myself until right now.
I'm gonna go ahead and just answer mine real quick too, because I have a feeling ours might be pretty similar. Serenity from Firefly.
Oh,
the
Firefly. I like Serenity a lot.
Dude,
I don't think it's my favorite.
Firefly ship is badass just by its own clunkiness and
it's
because of the Crazy Ivan.
It's all right. the Crazy Ivan makes
And it literally has a nuclear explosion
how you spell
that
Serenity?
powers it into like hyperspace. That's insane. And if it comes with a Kaylee, then it's worth it.
That was gonna say Kaylee makes that ship. Without Kaylee,
Yeah.
that ship's terrible.
That's cool shit.
Are you?
By the way, so I went and looked at like the graphics card you need for No Man's Sky, and mine is not good enough.
Well, David's got that
I've
one.
got a
so-
gift for you.
If it has to be a, where is this? What did I have before? AMD. The NVIDIA. I have a 750 or whatever it is, and it needs a 1060.
Oh, I got a 1070 for you.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go buy No Man's Sky. I'm like,
I mean, it will run, just not well.
well, I don't know if that counts as running then.
You know, this being said, when I was growing up, I had a stock built HP desktop and no graphics card. It was a Phenom. It was a quad core Phenom, so it was pretty badass and CPU wise. 6 gigs of RAM, 500 gig hard drive, no actual graphics card. I played Fallout 3 on that. I played Oblivion on that at like probably 13 to 20 frames. So, yeah, it'll run.
But is that living? You know what I mean?
No, it was horrible, and I don't envy it at all. Sometimes I'll go back and I'll turn all my graphic settings down just to remember, and then I cry a little. So. Also, that's just cool.
Either of you play Outer Worlds?
Yeah, I didn't finish it, but I mean, it's real good. I know.
Did you notice how closely it was?
Oh god, it's just Firefly.
Yeah, yeah.
It is Firefly. Like you get like, was it Pravati is basically, she is your Kaylee right off the bat.
You've got a Kaylee. You got a Shepherd
who
book.
you cannot romance.
Whatever. You got a Shepherd book. You've got a Jane, the fighter, like meathead guy.
I forgot you get a Shepherd book.
I don't know if there's an analogy for Anara. Maybe the AI computer.
Maybe I was gonna say I haven't seen. She does. She is the reason that you can dock at a lot of places.
See, there you go. So there's one. There's an analogy.
That might just be a stretching, but I'll go for it.
Yeah, that works. And then there's let me think. That might be it.
Now I want to play the Outer Worlds
because I can't think of the Tams who they would be in the game, but yeah, it's basically, and then the ship itself is pretty reminiscent
it's
of
clunky beater, and I love it. Have you made not made, but has Tina watched Firefly?
No. She's not into sci-fi.
I try to get Dakota to go watch it because she likes sci-fi and stuff, but I think I don't think she likes the one. I think it's a little slow at start.
It definitely is.
Yeah, but that first episode is good.
The video quality isn't super great, so like it's kind of hard. I think sometimes watching the sci-fi stuff when you're so used to like the stuff now. That's just so.
I think it looks great. It's a lot of practical effects.
Maybe if she focused on the art more, like the creative process, that could be more interesting to her than the actual space sci-fi stuff, because the soundtrack, first of all, is amazing.
The fact that they didn't censor any curse words, they just said them in Chinese is Xing Xing Dagua still means Holy Testicle Tuesday. Remember that forever. That was Nathan Fillion's favorite thing. Xing Xing Dagua.
That's pretty funny.
That was clever. They did that in Battlestar Galactica too, where instead of censoring the word fuck, they just said the word frack. And it was far enough into the future that could just be an evolution of language.
It's be an evolution of it. I love that shit when they do like play on words for things, and you can just tell what is supposed to be like a swear word. Like in Firefly, they say "ruttin" all the time. Like no ruttin' way. It's like okay, I know that's fucking at this point.
Did you guys ever play StarCraft? Either of you?
A bunch.
I played a lot of StarCraft, the first one.
Yeah, I played a fair amount of the first one, and not in a long time.
So StarCraft 2 is free, by the way, but
really,
like I think the world for like Protoss is just so cool. like having warp gates,
Yeah.
you just like warping in units, and the fact that I think like what is it? The stalkers are like the souls of like fallen warriors, like recreated into like people. So like I love like the stalker units are just so cool.
We're just lore whores entirely.
The Tempest
are
pretty cool too. Motherships are just fucking crazy.
The motherships, is that what this one is? That's the carrier, right?
No, that's carrier. If you go up,
yeah,
it's the ones.
Which ones?
It's the big glass looking ones.
This thing?
Yeah, that's a mothership.
I don't think they had that in the first one.
They didn't.
Yeah, they didn't.
They had like a mothership, like a small mothership or something like that. I think.
Have you ever seen Farscape?
The living ship?
Yeah, I was gonna say the living ship is pretty sweet.
Yeah, Protoss does so. Like in that game, it's like their manufacturing processes are off-world.
Yeah.
You collect the resources locally, but it's like you collect the resources locally, and then it beams it off to something being processed off-world. And then whenever you want to create stuff, it creates them over there, and then it warps them in, kind of thing. Is how I imagine it.
It's whatever it is. It's cool, man. And then I think like the Colossus buildings, the Colossus are really cool.
That was always my go-to was Protoss. I always played TOS.
I think it was easier to play. I feel like it's just easier.
It's not easier if you're up against your opposite, which is Zerg.
I was gonna say, can you still type?
Because like the hardest thing about playing, so the Protoss in game is like it's if you can get some of the bigger stuff, you're gonna kill shit. But in the beginning, it's the most susceptible to Zerg rushing, which I know people just play like have a like, oh, no Zerging, but like that's the issue.
Nobody does that. I just wall off, man. Just wall off. You create a wall with your buildings, and Zerglings can't get in.
Well, at least in StarCraft 1, you couldn't just like it was a race to get your first cannon at a choke point before you started getting Zerglings rushing in.
Interesting.
If you could do that, then you could get a second cannon, and then you could start building stuff you really cared about.
That's funny.
The beginnings, it's like it's because it requires so much resources to build their like high tech stuff. But then Zerg is like, not only is it cheap, but you get 2 Zerglings for every hatch instead of just 1 unit. So the balance of that game is probably, I mean, it's legendarily well balanced.
Yeah, it's really cool. How like you can kind of still play anything, and like the best players in the world like they play all the races. It's really cool.
Yeah. Now my favorite race, I always play Protoss, but my favorite race is the one that I'm the worst at, which is Zerg.
Zerg is so cool.
Yeah, it's so freaking cool, dude. And I just can't play it very well. It's not, I don't know, it doesn't jive with me. But that one, similar to Protoss, if you can do the right, it has to be a long, drawn out game to do this. Yeah. We used to do this on the Big Game Hunters map, which was like a custom popular map on BattleNet for a while. Yeah. And because it had so many resources and it was so big. But basically, if you infest a Terran SCV, you could then build an entire Terran army with a separate resource limit. And then you could do the same thing with a Protoss drone. We could build an entire Protoss army with a separate unit limit. So typically people are limited to 200 units, I think. But then if you can mind control if you can infest or mind control an SCV, you can build a separate army of Terran that also has a 200 unit limit. So you can have a massive army of all the races if you play Zerg, and it's the only one you can do that with. But it's also super hard to do it, especially against another like human player. You can do it against the AI pretty easily. I love that this went to like space games basically in movies.
Well, I feel like that's not that much of a surprise for us.
It's a natural, yeah. It has to have gone that way. What did I think it was going to happen?
Maybe I think what I might do, maybe I'll do that today, and like my afternoon or something. I'll draw out all the because like I gotta draw and make all the so like because y'all picked like a cyberpunk kind of world for like the D&D Bitcoin, right? D&D blockchain or whatever it is. I have to go through and create all new art for it because I can't just use like D&D art.
You can maybe reference Cyberpunk. Have you played Cyber? Do you have Cyberpunk?
Yeah. I have the game. Honestly, I own it. I did not really enjoy playing it too much.
Well, it's they changed it. Was it early on when you played it?
No, I bought it like a couple months ago.
Oh, okay, all right.
Like 6 months ago.
I was gonna say they changed it a lot. My favorite part was Keanu Reeves. If you do all the side quests with Keanu, and like really flesh out his story and all of his like old companions and stuff, there's some cool stuff in there with some really like, I don't know, impactful to me, like impactful quotes and like writing, I thought.
I feel like I felt like the graphics and like kind of like the controls of it just felt kind of clunky. It definitely didn't feel like smooth. I don't know. Definitely wasn't my favorite game.
Yeah, it depends on what you're using as well. Like this thing here, the Mantis arms, you know, that's pretty smooth. The takedown with the Mantis arms, but then if you switch out your arms with like the rockets or with like the weird wire thing, some of the things are pretty stupid in it.
Did you watch the show?
Was there a show?
Yeah, there's
Netrunners, right? No, I didn't watch the Netrunners show. No. Did you?
Yeah. It was good. I liked it.
You could still use assets as inspiration from here, though, because it is sort of this. Like Cyberpunk is a dystopian future and necessitates like decentralization a little bit, even though they don't really talk about that in the show. It sort of is like a necessity of oppressive governments is to create disparate but interconnected networks.
I might use some of it, but I didn't want to like just straight up lift like art. You know what I mean? Like it's the gun from this thing. So that's why I thought it would be cool to have like AI help generate some stuff. But like
you can do it.
Unless you have an art one that you like, I have not found an AI art that I like yet.
You might try. I have to play with some more of them. There's so many of them now. I was using Jounce. One I want to use though is something that can be self-hosted with your own graphics card and stuff to generate. If you have like one of the RTX cards,
so it runs faster or something.
Well, it just uses NVIDIA's RTX series has these things called tensor cores that are specifically designed for AI computation, like AI modeling. Yeah. And so you can run. There's the one I'm thinking about is called Stable Diffusion. It's open source artwork generation comes with like models that have already been trained and stuff, but it's text input and then it renders out something. But it's pretty good, and you can run it on your own system and stuff instead of relying and paying somebody else to do it, which is why really I want to do it. It was actually one of the things that's on the back burner of like, okay, if I ever find the time and resources, I would love to turn this into a resource for Den where you could pay Matter to an art generating AI kind of thing.
Okay, that'd be cool. Yeah, using your art to generate AI.
Yeah, and I just run it on my own server and then have an interface where you could tip Matter to pay for a request. And in the tip, there's already a note, you know what I mean, section.
Yeah.
So you could literally, this would be something for the smart contracts that is like one of the features that we need on Den, where you can run bots in an organized, meaningful way on Den. But you could make an AI bot where you could literally request something and then tip it, or send a tip with a note that requests what you wanted to generate, some version of that. And then it would just be a way of buying artwork, you know, that kind of thing.
I think it'd be cool because I've thought about this a lot with like different stuff we've done. And the only issue I see is that you run into human error a lot. Like, I've flubbed a finger when I was typing in my note and it went up with the wrong thing. I never got my product. I never got my whatever on time. Okay, that just sounds awful. It'd be cool if there was a way to only accept like certain phrases or certain words, right? So like it, you know what I mean? Like when you type something in, like it won't let you type in anything other than like these 5 things. Or it has to start with this phrase. I have no idea how to do that like on Den.
The most successful results that I've seen with artwork, like AI art, has been to give it a query and get a result, and then see what it got wrong, and then add to my query based on that, and then iterate through like 5 versions of it until I get the end result that I want. For example, I wanted an image of 5 people playing 5 Xboxes with 5 TVs in a room, and it gave me a picture of like 3 people playing not 5, like a couple of Xboxes on one TV. And so then I was just like, I took the same query and then I said, at the end of it, I just added on with 5 Xboxes. And then I did it again and it still didn't get it right. And then I added a second statement with 5 Xboxes. And I did that like 3 times to emphasize like how strong of a request that was for the artwork, how important that was in the end result. And eventually it was like, oh, you want 5 of them. Okay, well, here's 5. And so eventually I did get exactly what I wanted, which was...
do you have the picture? I'm curious what it looks like.
Yeah, let me see. Let's do... How do I find this and present it? I know. Yep, here it is. So I have like this, I'll just share this because I have this folder of the AI stuff I've generated.
Maybe I'll go like...
All right, so these are all like AI things that I've made. And
this is on Jounce?
Yeah, these are all Jounce based. Okay. It's got to be in here somewhere. So here's like a coffee with... Does that open in a different window? Yeah, that doesn't work. Dang it. Where is it? There's that. Here's a D&D graphic I made. I don't see it. I must not have saved it here, or maybe I made it on a different machine. So no, I can't show you, I guess.
Okay. Well,
that's fine. Here's these are interesting. Can I make them just bigger in here? Let's see. Because well, here, I'll just open it and share that screen. These are interesting because I told it to make to render ships in the style of a specific sci-fi show. And this is what it came up with for a ship from No Man's Sky, a ship from Battlestar Galactica, which looks a little bit like the Viper in BSG. This is a ship from Star Trek, and it looks a little bit Star Trek-y, right? So you can tell that it was trying. It isn't literally a ship from Star Trek, but it resembles what you might see in Star Trek. It needs some help still. It looks like it's made out of mud, but you know, it is that. This is what it came up with as a ship from Star Wars. This was Aliens,
okay,
you know, from the 70s.
Yeah, that looks cool.
You know, so like it has, you know, decent concepts. This was, what was this? And I tried to name them something based on the query. This is something for the cannabis layer. Blade Runner vibes, right? So a lot of them I'll say in the style of, or that resembles, or something like that, you know, with Blade Runner vibes, for example. Yeah, there's a fire dragon. What else is in here? This was pretty cool. A Daedric Prince, you know, Elder Scrolls. It's Elder Scrolls aware. That's the kind of stuff that surprises me, that it understands references, I guess. Here's a gravity crab.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool, actually. Did you show David?
Yeah, he's back. There he is. David, I'm going just through some of the AI stuff. So there's the gravity crab.
So you're literally saying my name while leaving me in the queue.
Yeah, I didn't see that you were back. The interstellar crustacean.
That the Daedric Prince thing looks straight out of Morrowind, by the way.
Dude, That's what I was saying. Like that's one of the things that impressed me right off is that it understands references, you know?
Like that's horrifying, by the way. I like that a lot though.
Do I have the skooma den in here? Let's see. Because that one was one of the most impressive ones. No, I don't have
Skooma
it.
Den.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, you know, if you're using AI stuff, it's all about just crafting the queries, basically.
I've never been very good at it. Every time I go play with one, I just get blobs.
I'm messing around with it now, and like everything I'm doing comes out like shit.
Yeah, I get garbage every time. Like you get cool crap all the time. That's terrifying. I don't like that.
So
at
these here, these two are literally almost the same query. And it got two dramatically different images out of it.
Yeah.
And you can run the same query twice and get two different images too. So this is where, I mean, that's pretty good. It's spaghetti and meatballs, straight up. Got it right.
all. That is terrifying.
It's probably been asked for that a whole bunch though. Like that's
Yeah.
got to be like.
What is this?
This is BRICS. You know, the BRICS versus NATO debate.
Mm-hmm.
I just told it to render something of BRICS. This is BRICS versus NATO.
That is
from an AI, right?
The future is now, and I don't like it.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff. A computer Pepe.
That's pretty funny.
I like
aliens in a cow field. So there's
it
stuff,
seems like you're actually good with this. So like I think it'd be funny.
I don't like that one.
If people had to generate their characters and stuff, or generate like
a troll in a dragon costume. That's what the query was for this, was draw me a troll in a dragon costume. So if you had a character like that and you wanted a representation of it, that's not terrible.
That's pretty great. All right, so sorry. So think about this. What if for like the D&D thing, right? You have to generate like your character or your weapons or like your gear with AI stuff. So like,
that would be awesome.
So basically, think about it like this. And like,
did you type in the future?
Think about like Mandalorian, right? Where you have to go to an armory to have your armor made, right? So what if to get a weapon or your armor or an upgrade or something, you have to bring in a piece of paper that has the query on it, like the whispered query on it.
Yeah.
And then you turn that in to a fucking generator, and then that's what generates a good piece.
And that's just like, what you get. That's your drop.
Yeah, and that's your drop. So it could be
that would be awesome. Actually,
it could be
that's
shit.
Cool.
It could be shit,
which is
it could be
this one
awesome.
Which is pretty perfect because a lot of times your drop is shit.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever. I like this one's my favorite.
This is very confusing, but like I'm curious. Like I'm trying to think about. Like I want it to be good though. You know what I mean? But I want to have the opportunity for it to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
I want it to be good with the opportunity to be bad.
Yeah, like I want, like I don't want our world just
funny.
to be like memes of it, just to be crap and like bad AI art.
Yeah, have some
it takes
decent
time.
assets. Yeah.
It takes time to make something that looks real,
and it's also super
why is this gotta
relevant.
be such a bitch to get out these days? Like,
it's also super relevant to the subject. Like, I like where you're going with that. The issue, and this is where something like Stable Diffusion, like I said, where you can self-host it, so you don't have to pay every time to, you know, like with Jounce, you get I think 500 or 5,000 words per month to query with art, but that's it. Beyond that, you got to pay for it. So if you had something that ran self-hosted, like Stable Diffusion, that was open and free, that you didn't have to pay for, you could run an entire campaign like that and have it pull, you know, images of the assets so people can know what they got visually as well.
The only thing I really like it, but I'm just trying to figure out, like, it takes a lot of time to
like
create
that.
this stuff, right? You've got to whisper at this thing for a while, right?
Mhm.
That looks like a 90s drug commercial. Like, do you remember when they
So-
had the commercials that were all like, you know, the camera was all like fuzzy and everything, and it was like trying to tell you how bad it was to be a stoner or some shit?
The brain on drugs thing with the egg.
Yes,
that era.
like the person melting, or like, you know, Pee Wee Herman, that is crack.
The Dare days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
But,
god, my
But
favorite.
like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out like how would I make that work, because I want, like, it's gonna take you a while to sit there and figure it out, you know.
If you were in person, I was just thinking about doing this in person. If it was in person, you could literally have a printer, and you could just print out what they got and give it to them.
well, I
That
can
would be
do that
funny
here,
as shit.
like a 3D printer, or what do you?
No,
what
just
do
a
you-
just a just a
Oh no,
regular.
just a piece
yeah.
of white paper with
What are you
no
trying to
color
solve, though?
ink.
like if I were all right, if you're playing D&D, right,
Mhm.
and you were to get a thing, like a weapon, right, but in order to
As
get the
you do.
weapon, you have to go to an armory and they create it,
Yeah. Yep.
but it's created using, but like the armor, imagine the armory is just like an AI.
So you're
Like, are they
asking
gonna
it to
Googles
create
and get it
something for you,
synthesized?
Yeah,
and that's
so you
your
have
query.
you have to know how to properly ask it questions to
I
get
see.
what you want. And how do I make it so it's just not an hour and a half of somebody asking questions? Because I can't just like you said too, I can't just give you a phrase that'll give you something great, right? Because you and I could put the same phrase in and it'll give you different stuff.
You could make it. I see what you're saying, and this makes sense now with what you were saying earlier about making it to where there were only certain words you could use in the phrase, because you could have in game. So we already talked about in-game currencies, and maybe each city has its own currency, but we're able to use all of them. Where each city is so tribal, they only use their own or something.
Yeah.
So you could use the in-game currency to purchase words in the query. Like you could only ask, you know, like the more words you have in your query could be exponentially more expensive the more that you add to it. So you have to be thoughtful about how you're asking it. It's like you can go get a 2-word, item. You might not be able to get exactly what you want, but if you can go forward a 6-word item, then you can
Oh,
really be
yeah.
descriptive about what you're asking for.
Do drops
That could be.
like based on word amount.
I was thinking about how many times you get to ask, how many times you get to refine your question.
Mhm.
So you could have like 10 questions and you could refine one question 10 times,
Mhm.
or you can have 10 different queries that'll print stuff for you. But what happens when you get something that's crap, like I'll show you. I made something like a second ago.
It goes on a shelf in your house and you forget about it forever.
Where's it at? Yeah, but like I don't want it to be crap. Like I want y'all to get good stuff and not just to get crap all the time,
See, here's the
Well-
thing though, we kind of want to get the garbage. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, as somebody who is going to probably be playing this campaign, I'd very much so like garbage weapons.
But I feel like you don't want, like, you also want things to kind of like make sense. So like, I don't know if you can share my screen, Dave. Right? Like, so this is one of the weapons it generated. Right?
Mhm.
When I just
That's
said create a
badass.
Protoss weapon from StarCraft 2, right? This looks cool. What does it do?
It's a sword.
Is it a sword?
It's a
Yeah.
it's a stabby
If
boy.
it's a sword, where do you grip it?
The hilt is it
It's
could be
not on
it could be
screen.
actually the staff. It could be a staff, and the staff's on the bottom.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's
it's
the
the
staff head.
top of a staff. Yeah.
Protoss stuff kind of like just floats in the air and shit. So it could be like a thing
Yeah.
that it fires from something maybe. But like that's my point, is like I get this and I don't really know what the hell it is.
Yeah, because it's not generating stats and abilities. It's just
Yeah.
generating an image.
Tell it to generate stats.
So here's like another one that's like the same.
Can we do that? Can it generate
Question.
stats?
And then this question was create a cyberpunk weapon gun. So create like a cyberpunk gun. And this is what it gave me.
It was like, I'm
Yeah.
creating this.
And
it
was
looks
just-
like something that's printed. It looks like something that could be fabbed at home, which fits.
yeah.
I don't know what it is or what it
Okay.
does.
So then this was another one I got.
That's a sonic screwdriver exploding.
It's like, so you got like a broken, very fragile weapon that just explodes in your hand and kills you. And this was the
Well,
very
don't
first
use it
one I
more than
got.
once.
And this is the very first one I got, which was
That is
create
a
me a
taser.
It was a cyberpunk weapon. And
It's an
this was a
LED strip.
cyberpunk weapon.
It's a flashlight.
There's a
Yeah.
bank of
Yeah,
capacitors.
Sometimes you get a flashlight though, man. And that's
Sometimes you get a
the
flashlight.
shitty weapons make the awesome ones more special, I think.
Does anyone remember that time that, like, do you remember when, like, what was that, PUBG was like a big thing, like the player unknowns or whatever, and then Fortnite came out and PUBG got pissed off and tried to sue them for having a frying pan in their game, and they were like, no, we have a frying pan in our game, and they stole it. So Fortnite changed it to a long-handled bowl.
Long-handled bowl. That's the same thing that if you ever go to like a music festival that has vendors selling glass pieces that you can smoke with, it's common to see them. It's common to see them labeled as. Can you guess what they're called?
Functional glass?
Spoons.
Or water spoons, yeah.
Spoons.
That's the other thing.
They're not
Yeah,
bowls.
look,
they're not pipes. They're spoons.
They look like it's because they look like spoons.
No, they look like
spoons.
Yeah.
It looks like a spoon. That's why.
Yeah.
Same kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's just
Same
a
kind of
spoon.
thing.
I thought this was like
Oh
a
my God,
flamethrower with stats is what I got here.
Oh, you asked it for stats too, but it isn't gonna. They don't do well with actually like numbers because if you ask it to write a specific word, which should be clear and easy,
give you stats though.
It won't. It won't. Like the word, I don't know, anarchy, some word. It just won't. It doesn't do text at all.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It'll do things that resemble text. Like those will be some weird letters, which you could use for lore. If it's an alien race, you could be like, here's what their text looks like.
Well, I could also just say that it comes scrambled and that it comes scrambled and then it's descrambled after an encryption. So this like what you get is the encrypted version. There's a million ways to play it. But
yeah, you kind of have to see what the limitations of the tool you're using are and then design based on that, unfortunately.
I could just make the caveat of like you get one weapon of this class and then you have to go create it in AI art using an AI art generator, which could be just kind of funny. Like, and then I'll make the stats for it or whatever. But
I kind of like the idea of like getting what you get, but being allowed to re-roll a certain number of times. But if you do re-roll it, you don't get to go back and pick the one you liked better before. You get whatever the last one is.
Yeah, you're just re-rolling.
So there's some like risk involved. Like, is this good enough? Do I want to risk having a shittier thing, or is this good enough?
I want people to have cool things, so I would let them be like it's like a saved file.
Okay.
And they can go back and use a previous saved file. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I can run stable diffusion. I have a card that'll run it, so I could actually set that up, and we could. Because you're gonna run out quick on Jounce. You'll the free stuff. You'll run out of like how many queries you can get.
Well, here's what I like about it though. If there's a way to save those images somewhere as well, for us to look at, because like then you could have the community actually create stuff.
Yes, you could.
And be like, here's this building with this information, and somebody that creates that could be really
cool. And I could even manually, like in a reply section, could say, hey, here's a post where I'm going to run every reply with a query in it. I'm going to run it, and I'm going to post I'll reply to your query with the output of the AI, so that you could basically just say, okay, run. That could be really fun actually. The AI layer. Or whatever we do. Yeah.
No, that could be actually just next level.
That could be. So then when we run this campaign, we could run it we could run it on Den so that you can have everything is on chain and saved. So the outputs, you could organize somehow you could use replies and posts and stuff to organize the campaign, where maybe you have the top post is just the session, and then you have a reply that is whatever you're doing right now. Like, oh, we're in this town, so here's the thread for this town. And since you can have nested replies, you could have each reply could be a sub post to where you have it. But anyway, you could always go back, and my point is you could always go back and reference what the drops were, what the image was that got printed from the armorer, and all that stuff. So it would all be saved.
This would be cool to like. I feel like this would take a lot more brain power than we have at right at this moment.
Well, that's something that I think I could help you with. With like, I'm not good at what you do at all.
What's
but,
that?
The creative work that you do.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
But what I am good at is like, okay, how do we use the tools we have to augment or to help that in a way that's, well, we're doing how do you do that on Den, or how do you set up stable diffusion so we don't have to pay for AI generation stuff? Like, who can run that? I can do stuff like that. And what this reminds me of is what we were talking about earlier, like an hour ago, which was the way that like the McDonald's conversation, about things being efficient and like not as good because of how it's done. With what I said a minute ago about designing something based on the limitations of the tools that you have. I mean, you kind of have to do that anyway in the real world, but in a creative sense, that's such a limitation, and that sort of, I think, illustrates one of the problems with AI is if you're only going to start creating stuff that AI can pull off, you lose the human creativity that maybe an AI wouldn't have thought ever had been able to pull off.
I think
For some reason, most people are cool with losing the human element in pretty much everything nowadays.
I think like you lose that for sure, but you also have this other perspective that's generated out of randomness where it can give you ideas that you don't know and that you've never thought of, right? So like kind of like with improv and stuff that I do, the whole idea is that like two ideas coming together and creating this weird mud, right, is going to be more powerful than them separate, or at least more unique and original. Maybe not more powerful, but it's going to be more unique and original for sure. Whether or not it's good is subjective.
That's fair. Yeah, the uniqueness is there still.
Yeah.
This is what an AI thinks we're going to look like if we're all playing a tabletop RPG with a computer.
I like the guy in the background who's dead ass wearing armor.
Yeah, it's great. He's just got a costume on and nobody else
He's
does.
like ready to go. He showed up prepared and he's just pissed off that all of his friends aren't as into it.
Yeah.
I really like this idea of using generative AI to give us game assets,
Yeah, I dig that. That's really cool.
Which is what No Man's Sky is essentially, right?
It is. It's all generative. It's all based on with some constraints, generate some stuff. With different biomes and different types of plants and animals and things like that.
Yeah.
Make some weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does not do well with words.
No, see the words behind them. Yeah.
I think,
but yeah, that's doable. I think, like this could be even, this is just like a conceptual, like, oh, you're on this world, just to give you an idea of where you are kind of thing. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And normally I just steal stuff from the internet, is like DeviantArt, I'll just go there.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, DeviantArt's great.
But then I feel, maybe I shouldn't be stealing other people's stuff. Cool. I have a question about something else if you want to help me out with it, actually.
I probably can maybe try to do that. Yeah.
I have like my screen sharing. So if I wanted to have this, right, on a website.
I forgot about the trash TV thing.
Dude. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I'll change it at some point.
No, I was just gonna say that
did I see the new episode of The Bachelor? No, I did not.
Netflix did a like a live, they wanted to do a live show, like not a pre-recorded streaming show, but an actual live stream on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it collapsed. God. They had to cancel it. I was like, wow, I don't know. It made me feel better about some of the stuff that I try to do and fail at, because I was like,
why did it collapse?
Well, it just they couldn't pull it off. It didn't work. And I was just like, all right, well, if Netflix with all the infinite funding they have can't make it work, right the first time. I feel less bad about some of this stuff. And the reason I know that is because we were trying to watch the reunion episode of Love is Blind.
Of course you were.
You watched that?
Yeah.
Dave, I will
purpose?
never get over the fact that I've known you for this long, and I cannot believe how much you just love garbage television.
I don't actually. It just happens to be on in the house I live in.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway,
That's
what was
they
your
all
question?
say. So right, so you like this is like my news feed, right?
Yes.
For me on Den.
Yes.
Is there a way? So I want from like here down, right? So all of this, and then I think it would be like a little
Yeah,
button that says like for more, click this, and it would like show more. If I wanted that to show up on another site, so if I wanted that to show up on, I'm gonna stop sharing for a second.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Share to where's it?
So if you want to embed that, oops, that's the wrong button. Sorry.
I want
If you wanted to embed that in a different site, basically, to use it as
here.
your social stream, basically.
if I want, yeah. So like basically it would show up here,
Mm-hmm.
right? A
Mhm.
little bit.
I love that picture of you keeps coming back to haunt you no matter what.
I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
This
I should have
is
gone
nicer.
yesterday to get the new headshot, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So like this is the little site I'm working on. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
thought it'd be cool if like my Den feed showed up here, or if it was just like the past like 6 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what you could do, I don't know how it would look straight up until you try it, but what you should probably try to do is go in there into your look up iframe, the iframe tag, and use an iframe of that specific URL. Like if you go back to your page again, there's a, well, you know what the URL is. So copy the URL, use that as the iframe input, and then iframe supports telling it basically exactly how big to be, right?
Mhm.
So you could make it 80% wide so that it's always however wide your window is, but then you could limit it to say make it this many pixels long so that it only displays this much. It'll give you a scroll bar so you can scroll through it, but you could still have a button that says go to the full page.
Okay.
That would give you a little window, and it should automatically show whatever your latest stuff is at the top, because that's what that page does anyway.
Is this the
But-
website you've been building?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
John, we're talking about we're prototyping basically a personal page where it's a subscription model, and we actually have a lot of that to talk about on Den.social tomorrow. If you look at the agenda in the Den.social layer, there's a section on personal layers, personal like premium layers, subscription models, and stuff like that. And the idea is to make it to where, you know how on Den, if you go through the layers, if you have not subscribed to, if there's a not safe for work layer like eroticism, and you haven't subscribed to it, it shows up in the list of layers you can subscribe to. But when you click on it, you get challenged to say, this is for 18 and up. Are you at least this old? And you have to acknowledge that you are before you go into it. You could have a similar thing where you can see that it exists, but you can't go into it until you subscribe to it. And maybe it's like $2 a month or something to subscribe to it. So we're talking about different ideas for creating premium models like that, so that people like you can more easily manage like a community of people that are paying to be to support you or to be in a particular community or something. And not only for monetization, but also for just kind of the utility of having only people in the room who are serious about being there. So you
like
weed
everything
out.
we try to do on Den, it's basically Patreon but better.
Right. So you could do a D&D layer that's a premium layer where you have people that pay to subscribe to it, which should get just the most serious people in there, so that you're like, no, we want to do this for real. We want people that are going to be there every week, that want to play this and take it seriously. And so you don't run into as many problems with people that are like interested for a minute, but then kind of just there to fuck off and not actually help with anything. Anyway, these are some of the conversations we've been having that we'll talk about on Den.social some more. So if you have ideas for that, we'll be talking about it tomorrow.
That sounds
So can you share my screen again? We'll see. I don't know if it's gonna work because I'm trying to show the inspect part. Is it showing? No.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So that okay.
I mean,
This is first of all, this is all generated on the fly whenever you open that URL.
Yeah.
So you cannot take an individual, like it's going to change. Then as soon as you post something else, it's going to, and it also recreates that page every time you open it. The web browser that you're using, it's going to recreate that page. The website for Den is literally an app that hits an API that is the actual Den server.
Okay.
So nothing on the website is actually the Den server. It's all just calling the Den server saying, give me the latest posts for T-Swift or Die. And
I require these.
And it generates it on the fly.
Okay. So there's no way to put just like this part into like
no.
My website. Okay.
I mean, yes, that's a lie.
Thinking.
Yes. But you would not do it with HTML. You would do it with an API call that hits Den and gets results and then uses those results to generate HTML that then displays.
Yeah.
So
and I would have to,
way.
And I'd have to have like access to like the Den API for that.
Well, no, it's you have to have documentation. You don't need access. You don't need special access. It's all public. But it's undocumented right now. So all you would need was the documentation for what API endpoints exist and how to use them, what it accepts as a request, and what format it gives you the data in, that kind of thing. Which is something that we just don't have right now. We need some work to document it.
That's fine. I mean, like I can just do it the way you described, where I'm just going to pull the page.
Yeah, that's the quick way to do it, because then you're just using Den to render it for you, and you're saying, give me an iframe of what I would typically see when I click on my personal link.
Yeah, I just figured people wouldn't need all of like the top part of it, where it's like this is.
You can actually make it with iframe. You can say lower. Like you can make it start from like not the top kind of thing.
Yeah. So I gotta go fuck around with iframe today. That'll be cool. But yeah, I was thinking about putting that in there. I thought that'd be like a neat little thing for the site. Trying to think of anything else I need to like move around and stuff. Because honestly, like there isn't too much more I need before it goes live. Besides like some of the rewording. I can like show you again if you're like looking for it. But besides like some of the like just rewording everything so it makes sense perfectly.
Yeah. So basically, David, to catch you up on that, is basically John is wanting to spend a certain amount of time writing or creating content on Den each week and allow people to buy lot that they then use to vote on where he directs his attention. In other words, if he's going to create 3 articles this week or 3 pieces of content, people can vote on where in Den he writes those articles and where he creates it is the basis, right? And John, you can correct me or expand on that if you want, but that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like if there was a John lair.
I could see a John lair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically all it is. So we'll see how it goes. I figured like it's better than nothing too. And if anything, I can leverage it into something else.
Yeah. And we want to be able to do something similar officially with Den too. And so all of this will go into what, like, we'll learn from this as well, what works and what doesn't work and what would be better or not and that kind of thing. So it's really cool. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a guinea pig.
That's what I'm here for.
Thanks, guinea pig. Poke
and prod me. I gotta figure out how to center all that shit. I don't know why it's doing that, but it's fine.
Hey, you guys know about Pokemon cards?
Sort of.
Holographic? All right.
Yo,
anybody
Charizards?
Has anybody heard of the latest scandal on Pokemon cards?
No, what's happening?
So I got to verify. I don't know how true it is, but so far it seems like it's true. But
I love the idea of a Pokemon card scandal.
Mm-hmm. You know how Pokemon's being like really popular again, and people are buying all these packs and collecting them and spending a bunch of money on them.
Yeah.
Well, few people tried to cash in stacks of really rare holographic Pokemon cards,
And they were
which
fake.
raised some questions because they were not fake. They were authentic, which means people are snatching them off the assembly line as they come across.
Oh,
So people that have
That's
bought
brilliant.
hundreds of packs of Pokemon starter packs to try to get the foil or try to get the rare one, and they didn't hit. Somebody snatched
they
your
were
cards, maybe.
stealing them anyways.
Yeah, same shit happened with the Monopoly game on
Yeah.
with McDonald's, that kind of thing. So
That's so funny.
that's
So really,
fucked
the
up, but
odds
yeah.
that you were playing weren't real.
No, they're much worse. They're way more rare than you thought.
I got real worried for a minute there because I just put this laptop back together and this was laying there.
Extra part.
Yeah, good news. It's just a part they sent me that I don't need.
Oh, good.
I was like, oh shit.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, man, that's crazy. I
didn't know they did that. That's awesome, though.
I don't know. That's the rumor right now. I haven't verified it, but I read about that this morning. And
I'm sure
like,
I would.
Oh shit!
I would probably do that. Not gonna lie.
And they get caught because they were dumb. They went to a game shop and tried to sell 13 super
that
rare.
Will never cease to amaze me. It's like
Yeah.
somebody pulls off arguably an untraceable, brilliant heist, right?
Yeah, apparently it's been going on for a while.
And then they go to a card store and they're just like, "Hey, I got all these that I've just had in my life for a
just
while."
happen
It's
to
like,
have all
insane?
these. Yeah, and it's like nobody has that many because they're rare.
Yeah, it's like, why would you think that? And then it's like, obviously it's fake. You find out they're real. That's
And
panic
also,
mode.
no, your local game shop doesn't have $3 million to buy all your cards. What do you think
I'm
this
sorry.
is?
It's like, I run a card store. Do you really think I have the money for your crazy cards?
So yeah, that's a thing. That's relevant to something that we're working on. It's interesting. This whole
That's funny as
the
hell.
whole NFT
Oh.
thing is supposed to solve that basically, but even the NFT thing has been has fallen to the same sort of thing. People that are in on the development who tell their buddies, "Hey, whenever you buy it, make sure you buy it, on this day or this special number," even on blind sales. So there's a lot of work to be done for anti-fraud and transparency and accountability.
which is just always probably going to be there, though. That's the kind of the deal with it.
Yeah, but you can iterate towards perfection even if you never reach it.
That's true.
That's a statement.
You're welcome.
That's why I only accept bad things. That's it. That's all I ever do is bad things.
You know what? Speaking of bad things, here's something I thought of recently that I realized makes me upset that I didn't realize upset me in the past. I have good friends who work in music who I feel like should... Okay, let me rephrase this. I don't know how to articulate it yet because it's a new thought. But basically, it annoys me that people only like good music. And what I mean by that is I define good in different ways than other people is all I really mean by that. Because there's music that I listen to that I like because it's interesting, even if it's not good, even if it's like it really needs a lot of work to be better, I will love it and get excited about it because it did something interesting that I hadn't heard before, or that just I liked, or it was weird and interesting. But then I'll tell people I'll show it to somebody who's a professional who knows what they're talking about, and they'll be like, "This is garbage. This is the worst thing I've ever heard. This is stupid. You should never blah blah blah." And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because they shit on something I like, but really, I think people should listen to bad music more.
Have you? I want you to think about this real quick.
Okay.
How do you think about people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I do that a lot.
Now define a good person for you, from your perspective.
Well, that makes me think of morals, though, and I'm not talking about morals.
So I think you have the same thought about music that you do about people, because you're definitely the person that's like, this person has this crazy view or whatever, doesn't make him a bad person. They're still good. They're still like pushing.
Yeah,
I can still talk to them. And this is still good quality, maybe not high quality, but still quality content of a person. I can still talk to, interact. It can get better. It can grow. It
Interesting.
can learn.
Yeah.
But
I think maybe you're right. You're onto something there. I haven't thought about it that way.
Just describe the reason why you give people with crazy views a chance.
This is why I love to talk to people about like flat earth stuff, for example, where I'm just like fascinated by like, why are you so convinced? What is it about? Can we like, I'll have I had a public conversation on Twitter with somebody who like was super anti-gay people and like homophobic, transphobic, and like, and I'm just like, it just got me interested. Like, I fundamentally despise what you're saying, but I'm so curious where that thing is. Because there's almost always a point that you can get to where it's like, oh, you believe this, I don't believe that. And like this person thinks that that homosexuality is a mental health problem. Like it's like they're mentally disabled because of it. And I'm just like, oh, I don't believe that at all, which is where we diverge from reality, or different realities.
And I think like you would never be like you would. I don't think you'd ever be like they're an awful person. You would just be like, oh, they've got this wrong. They got
shitty ideas that
but you'd be like, oh, they're probably still a good person. They probably still feed their dog and pay their taxes. And I don't know if that makes you a good person.
Yeah, they're not like murdering people and like, it's kind of like the freedom of speech thing, you know?
Yeah,
it's like there's a line that you don't cross. You don't organize a mob to go burn someone's house down. That's not free speech. You know? So there's lines you don't cross, but yeah, I hadn't thought about it.
It's kind of like a band not knowing how to play in a scale. Like, okay, like you're not playing in your music is a little avant-garde here. Your opinions are a little free jazz based here. You know, you're not really, you're all not playing in the same key. Doesn't make you a bad music, but here's my argument. It does.
But even freeform jazz has a following, and I listened to some things with that, and it's like there was like a whole not even that, just like there was noise bands, right?
Yeah,
just noise. Like there was a whole concert in the CERN Large Hadron Collider area thing they have with a noise band where it was like, oh, have you? That sounds cool.
Yeah.
But it was like a big, giant open space that was like industrial and reflected sound in weird ways that was not like good for music. But they were like, yo, that's our shit. We love noisy, annoying stuff. Let's go play noise in that. And that's a band. And it's interesting. I don't like it at all. I think it sounds terrible and it's off-putting. But I did watch the whole thing because I'm like, what are they doing and how do they make that noise? And
you would still be like, it's good, and
it's like, interesting, and it's good because it's interesting.
But like, I think there's also a difference between doing noise, like being a noise band, and doing it well, versus being just Yoko Ono screaming over the Beatles.
Thank you. I was actually going to use the same example. If you've ever seen that video with Chuck Berry and John Lennon, you can literally see a blood vessel in like Chuck Berry's eye, looking like it's about to explode when Yoko makes noises. But yeah, like arguably Yoko Ono makes noises that are interesting, but they're not good.
I'm not saying that there's not bad music out there. And I'm just saying that my line is in a different spot than most people.
All I'm saying, and I'm just saying that the way you think about music and the way you think about people is the same.
I did not know that about myself, John, but I think you are right. I think you are correct.
My sees the good in everybody.
What?
Oh, sees good stuff in most people.
Well, I don't know. Just that I don't consider someone a bad person just because they're a fucking idiot and stupid. Basically.
I think if your idiocracy and your stupidity affects and hurts other people, then I don't think you're good.
Right. That's where there's a line. It's not, all people are acceptable. No, that's obviously not true.
Your level of hurting people is different. Yeah. Like your level of hurting people is like, they didn't burn down a building. I'm like, but they said shitty things to people on the internet. Like that's still not okay.
Yeah. Well, like I'm more okay I'm more okay with saying shitty things about people on the internet than I am okay with saying shitty things to people. Do you see what the difference is there?
Yeah, I do, but I don't think that's a line worth drawing. Like just because you're a Nazi in your spare time doesn't make you doesn't make it okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because I'm not actively, just because I'm saying my stupid shit on the internet and not going to their house and yelling at them, like, doesn't make it all right. It's maybe a it's not as bad.
You're still a
as-
scumbag at the end of the day.
You're still crap, but you're like, but how much you stink is different. You know what I said? But in the end of the day,
it's just where different people draw the line, I guess. Like I would not include like talking about somebody like in a plotting and like goal setting fashion, saying we should start a movement to make sure that these people I don't like don't have access to the same financial or like economic things that I do because they're a lower class of citizen and organize around that. I'm just talking about like people who want to openly discuss why they're a racist pig.
I think you're just curious about humans.
Yeah, it's like, why are you shitty? You know, like, I don't know.
I think you're just,
and maybe that's just where my line is, and that's, and maybe that can change and evolve over time. But you know, some people draw the line. You ever see the scale of animals, like the ones you'll eat versus the ones you won't? You know, it's like where you draw the line on that scale is different.
Would you eat a horse?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
it's fucking tasty.
It's gamey as hell.
I've never like when I was in Iceland, they have horse there. You can order it at restaurants and stuff, but I didn't order it.
I think we had it in Sweden, and then I've had it in the States. A friend of mine came up from North Cuba or Miami, and he brought it with him, and it was good.
It's like, I mean, I eat cows though. Why wouldn't I eat a horse? It's just like a buff horse. It's like a fit horse or a cow.
cow. All right, horses are not just buff cows.
They are. They're just they're trim. They go to the gym. They work out. They're not they're not fattened up.
Is a shark just a buff manatee? Is that what we're doing now?
Well, no, those are different. One's a fish and one's a mammal. So no.
Is a shark a fish?
But a dolphin. Yeah, a shark's a fish. A dolphin is a mammal.
I don't have enough on this to be able to challenge you on that.
A manatee is a fat dolphin. Yeah.
I don't. Okay, a manatee is just a dolphin is just a buff manatee.
Yeah, it's a skinny manatee.
And an orca is a bodybuilder. Is that what it is? Dolphins are like the Olympic athletes, and the orcas are the world's strongest man competition.
Yeah,
and manatees are the people that sit on the couch and watch it.
Yeah, there you go.
We're breaking the world here on Coffee with Dan.
We're simplifying categories, is what we are. The world is far too confusing. We need fewer categories of things. Like the little pack of crayons you get in kindergarten. You know, you got those colors, and everything else is just an ish version of that. You know, reddish green, or stuff like that.
So I have to confess to something that I feel awful about. So speaking of animals. I like animals a lot. I like creatures. I don't feel good anytime I happen to be the cause of one of their demise, be it accidental or not. Guess what I fucking ran over the other day?
A squirrel.
A goddamn tortoise.
A tortoise. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah.
I felt
also
horrible.
Those are way more bad for your car than
God, yeah. It was not happy about it.
Yeah.
So I was on my way to the store. I was on my way back from doing something. I think I went and picked up some food. But I was on my way back and I saw this car in front of me swerve. I was just like, what the hell did you swerve for? And I noticed it like the moment that my tire made contact. And I literally cried immediately. It was terrible.
Yeah, I don't like running over animals either.
I feel awful about it. I still, and the worst part is it's on my commute to work. And it's still there.
You know who, here's an example of a bad person. Is the fucking assholes that go out of their way to hit animals on the side of the road.
Yeah, that's a bad person in
People
general.
do that. People do that.
Yeah, like that's a shitty human in general. Like the people that go out of their way to harm an animal just because. I mean, like I saw a sticker on a guy's computer yesterday that literally said "abuse an animal, go to jail," and I was like, yeah, I kind of like that. I can get behind that.
Isn't
It's a
that
good
a
system.
thing?
Yeah, I mean it is.
I
But,
thought that was a
like,
thing.
yeah,
Didn't,
but
you
most
know,
people don't take it seriously.
Michael Vick do that? Like, I thought we already covered this.
Oh,
this shitty
Jesus
part of
Christ. I
There
forgot
is
about
precedent. Yeah.
that.
Well, look,
Let's get
guys,
the hell out of here,
let's go
y'all.
out of here and do stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, I gotta get back to work.
I've already got my code open. I'm working on the iframe stuff right now.
Cool.
I'm
I'm going to
so
look
far
into
behind.
what it's going to take to get Stable Diffusion running locally, so we can just hammer it with requests without paying for anything,
That'd
and
be fucking
get some
sick.
AI stuff.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah,
As long as we all
and
have
then-
access to it, I want to play with.
Yeah, for sure. It would be handy if I had a second graphics card
What
that
you
could
need.
do that, because well, no, you need one of the RTX cards, at least a
Oof.
3000 series. I mean, you don't need that.
But
Actually,
you should have it.
Wait, hang on. I
Trying
got
to
a
remember.
96 core server. I could probably just use that. It would just be slow.
Yeah, oh my god.
I got a
Please
96
use it for
core
something.
server with like 712 gigabytes of memory.
There's so much memory. in
Have
that.
you
I
ever
could just
thought
run it
about
on
opening
that.
a computer store, Dave?
Yeah. Yeah, I did that
I got
once.
one. We can collaborate. I got one.
So yeah, I'll work on that. I'm actually curious now if I can get that running on with not an NVIDIA GPU. It would just be slower. It might take like 2 minutes instead of 13 seconds to generate the image, but that's
fine.
probably fine. Yeah. Because the only thing is like I use my video card to play games. I don't necessarily want it to be consumed by a server that's running Stable Diffusion kind of thing.
We could also compare, like, you know, the CPU rendering versus like even a less powerful graphics card.
That would
Just
be a
for
good.
fun.
That would be a good post too. I could write it up and like results. Interesting. Cool. So I'll look into Stable Diffusion, which is something that I've been wanting to do anyway, open source AI image generation. And then we can start plugging that into how you play the tabletop game that John's designing, which is something I don't know how to do. So thank you.
Designing the game?
I mean, maybe not design is not the right word, but like conceptualizing it. It's designing. You're designing the game.
I think so. This is what I think would be really cool. All right, here's the really quick pitch to get us out of here too. So if we did, can I just do this real quick? I'm gonna make a visual element to it, so it's a little easier to follow what I'm saying. Right, I need to share this. And that's the wrong screen I didn't want to share. Wait, hold on. What's popping up?
All right, I won't share your code snippet.
Oh, is that what that is?
I think so. That's what it looked like.
There's
John trying to use technology is.
No, I'm great. I just clicked the wrong fucking screen. I have one.
You know more programming than I know, so.
Oh,
You ever click the wrong button? Happened to him.
Oh, so so we would have like tabletop gaming, right? Tabletop. This is all I was trying to do. And
You
then
pulled up a blank text document.
I just clicked on the wrong one. I clicked on different Google Sheets. It's all it was. And then we'd have like blockchain. I can spell
Chime.
today.
That's the name of the
chain,
village.
D&D, right? And then we'd have like cities.
Mm-hmm.
But then like we'd have like Bitcoin, Monero.
Got you. Yeah. So without actually having
And
to
then we
name
have-
things or make them like what it'll eventually be, you lay out what it is,
And
and then
well,
you can go back and
what I
I
would
see,
do, so like I would have like, so this part right here would be like one. Never mind. Maybe I might need its own layer. Because then I was gonna say what I could do is like each post would be like Bitcoin City, right? If that's the fucking name of it.
this is a perfect application for what we're talking about tomorrow on the governance call, because
So-
you could literally have a layer like you just said, and then people could subscribe to it, and then their persona that they are in the game, they could actually, even when you're not in a campaign playing, you could communicate with your persona and you could be from Bitcoin City, or you could be, you know, a Monero person. Anyway, keep going.
Well, so what I was gonna say is like if you have like Bitcoin City, right? To use your AI, you would as like your so this is like your post would just be Bitcoin City and then a little description of it. And then so like it runs on Bitcoin super elitist or some shit like that. And I can't spell apparently. So then like but then the comments in it, the replies on that post would be AI generated questions.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be like
your color scheme.
Create the Capitol building that's all gold and designed like a right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's one, and then it would like generate picture. Jen. From Dave's. What's the name of it's called? What's the shit called?
Stable diffusion.
Diffusion. That's fine. Right, and then you would have like another one here. Like then like another person would like type in like a building. So it's like tavern, but poops. And then you'd have a picture.
And so this is how you do world building, basically.
Yeah, it'd be like tavern. Called what's a cool name for a tavern?
The
Muddy Rudder.
I'm just trying to think of a Bitcoin tavern name. The tungsten chalice.
The tungsten chalice.
I'm going with terabytes. I like puns.
There we go. Terabytes. Okay.
This doesn't matter too much, right? And then it would have like pick of tavern. Right.
I can see how this is a very like logical way of building out the world and what it looks like and how it exists. I like it.
So basically, people's but we just have to have it so that like the reply to each reply, I guess, would then be the picture, right? So after the reply, you would automatically post in that layer the picture.
Yeah. So you would reply to the post, the Bitcoin. Okay, here's Bitcoin City. Here's what we need, and then people could reply with their individual question, like query, like I need something that is this. Yeah. And then I could reply several times with several different images from the same query to like pick your favorite one. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but I feel like you.
Or
tell me.
So since the AI is going to generate, even with the same query, it's going to generate several different images. If you just rerun it in the same query, you could post them all, and then we literally have voting up and down. People can use energy to vote so that the community picks which one is the one that we use for the tavern kind of thing.
But here's the only thing is like I would love to find a way for this to get more and more specific. So like what if somebody did that and then like somebody else was able to be like previous thing and then it would it would run it again but with more specificity, like specificity plus guards station at every door, and then the pick would generate even more. So then like maybe that would be like here.
Yeah, if we laid out an easy to understand process for that, or like guidelines for how to collaborate on building this out, so everyone's that way. Basically, there's the same pattern. People know like how to request a change or how to be like this, but with orange roofs instead of pink ones or something like that. Yeah, that's something that we could definitely. I like the idea of using like a whole layer for this, and even to the point where it's a not a private layer, but one of these. Eventually, it could be one of these premium layers, like that we're going to talk about tomorrow. But for right now, it could be a custom layer where only the people who want to participate and play in this are allowed to have the lot, you know, like as owners. That way we can because we have the issue with Den where the LCP layers have a bunch of people that just don't participate as owners kind of thing, as lot holders. Yeah, this is interesting. This is
what
good.
I mean, we could also just like the 5 people that manage the layer, so the 5 people in the game could sell lot.
Mm-hmm.
So we generate 500,000 fucking lot, and then we can sell it.
Yeah,
you know, and then each campaign, each session releases like another 50,000 lot that the 5 of us split separately, and then we can sell off.
And this is one of those things that if this is just the way I think, and maybe it's not, you know, how it would really work, but I would think that if somebody outside of Den saw this, who was really into D&D, who wanted to help build it, like, oh, look what they're doing. It kind of sucks though. It'd be better if they did it like this. They could literally come in, buy a lot, and use that somehow to help build it.
Yeah. The only thing, we'd also have to make sure that nobody's like going to be like this, but with naked ladies.
Yes. Well, that's exactly what I would. So here's how I imagine this. I imagine this being open to anyone, not just people who are lot holders to reply and stuff, but then the lot holders are the governance who can veto shit. You know what I mean? So if somebody comes in with some stupid shit like, you know, this, but all the guards have titties and they're naked, then we can be like, no, we're not going to do that. And if it's something that needs a decision, a community decision, then it can be voted on.
So what you're telling me is we're banning the entire Skyrim community?
Yes.
No, what I'm saying is we're making it an interesting and fun game that doesn't devolve into a bunch of bullshit that's going to be funny for 3 seconds and then dissipate and nobody will ever use it again. Yeah. We want to make it good.
But no big titty guard statues?
Go make a big titty guard statue layer. I don't care. You know, that's the beauty of Den, is if you don't like what you're doing in one layer, you can just go do your own shit. But I would pay for a layer if you know, to build this out. I think it's a really good idea.
Is this something that you and I can manage ourselves? Like I could do a lot of the like the React and HTML part on the front end.
You could have a standalone website too, and we just use the layer as a forum on the website. Yeah. You know how a website has a forum section? You click on forum and it goes to a subdomain, and that subdomain is like a different forum that's like a cut and paste, like a, you know, if it's a forum, it's different than the website. We could literally use a layer on Den just as a website forum kind of thing. And then it could be a remote, like, you know, internet based D&D club where we all play together and build something new together and meet once a week for a game or every 2 weeks or whatever. It's interesting enough to get me on board with it. I would help with that a lot. Yeah.
So here's the other secret thing you can do with it later is that you create this, and then right before, so I tore my ACL like 5 or 6 years ago, but the week before that, I was scheduled to run a D&D campaign for Chromatic Games, Augie's like company. And then the week, 5 days before, I tore my ACL and I couldn't walk, and I was just in horrible pain, so I had to cancel. But basically, you would run like D&D campaigns for companies, but I bet like crypto companies would love this shit. Like if somebody created a custom game that they were able to then interact and generate artwork for it.
This is basically AI. Tabletop metaverse.
Yeah.
To an extent. Yeah.
I like that name. I've never heard of that before.
I don't think it's ever been. I don't think it's ever been used before.
I like it.
Tabletop metaverse. Yeah.
I want to do something cool with that. Metaverse. Kind of cool. I'll figure it out later.
Yeah, because then people could the different cryptocurrency tribes or projects or companies could potentially get in on it, or people from their communities who like tabletop games could get in on it and then like contribute to that city, in this world, like designing that city, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, you could even do like currency, right? Images, because it would be, they're running off Bitcoin, but it'd be like, so then you'd have like picture, right? Have like
Yeah, like Dogecoin has a Doge on their coin, stuff like that. Yeah,
square gold plated chip, right? And then you'd have like a pic. The only thing is like all the sub pictures would be like all the amount of like subcategories for each thread feels a little weird. Because like when I maybe I'm just not thinking about Den correctly.
Well, it definitely one of the issues you would run into on Den, if you have, depending on how much you have nested under one post, is we do not have collapsible nested replies. So, although you can nest out a reply thread as far as you want, there's no way to collapse that if it's too long.
Yeah, and that's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Is
however, if you had a standalone, if you did have a standalone website, did you ever look at like do you ever play Final Fantasy games?
Yeah.
I was really into them, and there were websites that had like what do they call them? Beastographies or something, where you could go look up specifics about every enemy and stuff. And it was like a database where you could look up and you could really drill into the specifics of every item or every beast or it was like a yesterday's version of today's, wiki or, Wikipedia kind of thing. But basically you would have a database on your website that you could easily navigate. And like, here's all the items associated with this tribe, and here's what their currency looks like. And then that way it's easily linkable and navigatable. And you could link to the post on Den from within that, where you can see the creation process. You can see like
the
where
Wikipedia
people designed
and
it,
stuff like this.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. And so you could always reference back to the origin of how it was created and the conversation around how it should be from the community by linking it from the website. Is one way you could do it.
I would just need a way. I think that's really cool, but I would just need a way for me not to have to do all the work of creating every page for everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and you also need an easily accessible database so that whenever you're DMing, you can keep track of like the implications of using this or that. If it's something we're just making up that you don't already know, I would imagine, right?
Sure. I mean, like everything, I can always make up whatever I need to make up too. But
true.
Yeah, I just like putting all the stats and everything in here is cool, especially if it was able to like auto generate. But yeah, I just don't know how I would use Den for that, because that's the thing is like the way I'm doing this, it would have so many nested ideas. Like you were saying, what if we're not like way over time? So if we want to end, we can end. But what if?
Well, no, this is good. This is productive.
What if none of the pictures actually generated on Den? What if everything runs on Den, but then populates somewhere else?
What do you mean?
So like
on that note, I do have to scoot. I have people to fix things for.
All right, go fix it up, bro.
Keep showing up. Good to see everybody. Missed y'all. I should be around next week as well.
Mail that 1080 to John or whatever.
I was like, yeah, let me know.
I have no idea how the hell to do that. I'll just hand it to your dad.
Okay. I could also give you my address, but that's fine. That sounds like
it's going to New York. With my luck, it'll never show up. I'll just get it.
Then your dad
Text
can
me your
pay
address.
the
I'll send it over.
Shipping cost for it.
Hopefully, it doesn't
work
work
out
the
other day.
Man, he came in the other day. What is he coming in for?
Just to hang out. He came in the other day and like probably, I think it was like probably 20, 30 minutes after I opened. And he was here for like, 45 minutes, an hour. We were just chatting about shit. It was right
That's
after I
so
figured
funny.
some stuff. It's just literally at this point he calls. And if I don't pick up the phone, he knows it's because I know he's calling and I'm just going to hear the voicemail real quick because he just needs to give me a piece of information real fast. It's great.
My dad is insane. That's
I love it. Your
real.
dad
Did
has
you
just
meet
become
his-
like a storefront.
He just
He-
happened.
he-
He just happened.
He came.
It wasn't
in one
organized.
day. No, it wasn't at all. He came in one day for a completely unrelated thing, and he was talking out front. And I could hear him, and he just had this like thing. I don't know how better to put it. He just seemed like a personable guy, right? And then I noticed that his name said Branch. I was like, okay. And he was like, "Yeah, my son John." I was like, "There's no way in hell that is a coincidence. Like, there's too many things lining up." So I popped out, and we just, that's why we're buddies.
That's
now. It's
funny.
great.
That is funny.
He needed.
I love it. It's great, actually.
He's crazy.
I have his typewriter out front. It's on display.
that man needs like a super part-time job. He needs
Somebody
an
has one.
Get it.
It's
Get
hanging
him
out
in
in the computer shop.
Get
One
him
where
an,
he comes in for like 4 hours a week.
get him an internship, and his job is just to talk to customers when they come in, and that's it. He just
That's what I have John for. My John. I would have to get rid of my John to replace it with this
With-
John's father,
whose name is Joe.
who's
So
Joe. I was like, it's just the same thing, 3 letters.
Oh my god, that's pretty funny.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, on that note, everybody have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
See
See you,
ya.
David.
So all right, so here's the idea. Like, I think like this site's basically where you ask questions to your AI to generate information, right? And then the information would generate on another page. So like the pictures would pop up somewhere else with the information attached to it in the correct area.
I see what you're saying. So basically, we're talking about plugging my open source AI into basically writing a program that will put it where you want it to put it on the website, or at least a directory where the website can pull all images from this directory or something. You want to automate stuff so you don't have to do it manually, basically.
Yeah, but it also
Organization of
needs to make sense because because it needs to have scalability, right? So if I'm doing this just for like our thing, then that's easy. It's a lot less time. Still kind of a pain in the ass, but it's a lot less time. But if I want to do this for if I was running this for 10 companies.
Oh, you're talking
right?
about scaling up. Okay.
I would need to be able to scale.
Yeah. I
Or
see.
if I've got
I thought we were talking about version now.
well, what if we've got 10 people putting shit in?
Well, yeah, we would hope to have 10 people that all were wanted to collaborate on the same game together, the same blockchain tabletop metaverse game or whatever.
How would we decide on maybe you could do it so things run only for a certain amount of time. So hey, we're gonna do the next play, we're gonna build this city together. Bitcoin city, here it is. We need we're gonna spend 3 days, 1 week of voting on that city, and then you can put in all of the artwork and all of your pitches for stuff, and then the following week you do the LCP, or and you upvote the things that you want to keep.
Yeah, so something like that is the way that I would see it being done. Is you basically need a calendar, is all. It's we're building. Here's what we need to build. You could just go alphabetical order and pick one starting with B or something. But you could also say I don't know, you can get as complex as you want it, but simplifying it to where we're building 5 things at a time, not just one thing at a time. And each of those is a different post that we can go in and talk within. That way it's organized into posts. On the website, you could have just a page of what are we building right now with links to the post on Den, so that you don't have to go to Den and search for it in the lair. In other words, where you could always just have what's being worked on right now. Where do we need the help right now? What did we just finish working on, and what are the results? What are the assets from the results of that? Work. These are all work sessions, collaborative work sessions.
Yeah. that would be a lot of world building. That's a lot of time put into world building, and
Yeah.
a lot of time not put into playing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that feels a little. What if it was more like a pitch? Like people pitch an idea. So each post would be them pitching an idea. So it's like, here's my pitch for the capital city. Here it is. These are the details and the specs, and I need art generated for it. So when I need art generated for it, in the comment of it, it would be it would say, oh, here, maybe I can.
Yeah, you
I
would
don't know.
basically just spell out how you imagine it being. And
Yeah.
then we need art, and here's the description of it that we can generate art based on.
Yeah, so
Right.
like when you would post, it was like I need art. When you would post, you would use like the keyword arts, or
Tags.
whatever.
We could use.
Yeah.
We could have layer specific tags for that.
You tag it with art, and then that would generate the art from your server, and then reply to only that post. So like on the post,
Oh, I would need hooks for the server to see someone's post to automatically generate it.
yeah,
I was
so, like,
imagining me like logging in every morning, checking. All right, do we have any requests? Run them, give the results, maybe twice a day. That kind of
I mean,
thing.
you could do that too. But I think the hooks is just kind of cool. So it'd be like, I don't know if you want to look at the screen that I'm sharing. I'm going to type out like the idea a little bit more, right? So like, or this is like the new idea, right? So just like the whole layer is metaverse, right? Tabletop metaverse, right? And then every post in it is just a different idea. So that is somebody's pitch. So it'd be like my pitch for a kick-ass bazooka.
So instead of
in
spending
the
so much
world.
time building instead of playing, you basically try to spend less time by letting everyone just pitch everything they want to pitch, and then you as the world builder can pick from the pitches to build your world. So you don't have to do all the like thinking about how it would look.
Yeah, and then like I can open up like GIs for if I want people's opinions on stuff, or if there's like multiple ideas. It's like right, so it's like my pitch for a kick-ass bazooka in the world, and this person's like shoots blue flame and does +5 damage to what's
to Bitcoiners. You could have weapons that affect certain tribes more than others, right?
Sure, yeah. That does stuff. This is a bazooka that shoots flames. Well, that's not a bazooka anymore. That'd be a flame. Kick-ass flamethrower. Extra damage to Bitcoin. And then this would be like, so then another comment on, so this is like one post, and then another comment would be like art.
Yeah.
And then like
art, maybe even the name of it.
Of thing. Right.
Yeah.
And then this would generate underneath, like generate as a reply to this. And then I think somebody else could come in, but I want them to could be like my pitch for a better flamethrower and G-Swift or dies.
Yeah, or you can just say better, and then you could link to the specific post or reply where that pitch is from here, just for continuity to make sure you know what you're talking about. I like this because you were saying what we were talking about a minute ago with the calendar base. We're working on these things now, collaborate. It takes a long time, and it's frankly kind of boring too. But if you could centralize the world building still, but spread out like the brain power of what should be included in the world, then what you're really asking is like, hey, everybody out there who, you know, has strong opinions about this stuff, what would your like, what are your ideas for cities, for worlds, for how, like attributes of certain tribes or things like that. And then when you're world building, when you're actually piecing it together into a campaign, you can then hopefully have a bunch of input, and you don't use all of them. You go pick the ones you need and you build with it. And somebody else has done a lot of the work on just kind of describing it and building it. And there's artwork and stuff like that. That would go faster, which is what we want. And then really everyone did build it. It just needed someone who could put it together.
Yeah.
Because really that's where decentralization has the most trouble, is taking everyone's like random shit and then compiling it into something useful in the world. Yeah, this could work. This could be what we want. And then it could be, I imagine something that's just ongoing for, if it's successful, it could go on for years.
So then, yeah. And then we could, so like to pick between different pitches, right?
Mm-hmm.
You set up your GI, and then that's what actually makes it to the Wikipedia.
Yeah. Okay. So if you have two competing flamethrower ideas.
Yeah. So like,
yeah.
So you have your Wikipedia, if you think about like Star Wars, right? That's what that is. It's just a catalog of everything in that verse, in that universe. So like you would create another Wikipedia for this, Metapedia, Blockchainpedia, some shit. I don't know. And then this would have all of like the stuff that's like set in stone.
Yeah. And so for anybody who really wanted to get into it and have fun with it and direct it, you could sell a lot.
Yeah.
And you could sell a lot just on a regular like Square storefront. And then you just have, like it's Etsy or something, you have digital delivery. And then when you mint it and tip it out to the people, you mark it as delivered, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
I like the new idea.
Yeah.
This
is better.
Instead of trying to do it all like, because that's like a lot of you coming up with what is needed and then saying, okay, help me build it. With the new idea, it's a bunch of like, hey, what do you guys think we need for a tabletop?
It's a lot
go ahead and pitch it, and then that gives me assets and ideas to pull from to build it faster.
Yeah, and that way too, it doesn't matter. Like, but the hard part is like waiting on other people so I don't create something that they already created. You know what I mean? Like,
you can also pitch. You're not banned from pitching yourself.
Oh yeah. And like I'll probably just create stuff, or I'll be like, hey, I need this thing. Like throw out idea. Like they're gonna be fighting a villain coming up. Like throw out ideas of what it would look like.
And also, like you're gonna be the lead. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to have somebody who's like can just wave a magic wand and make something exist. That's what a DM is. So that's part of the game. What this should be is something that like it should just be another tool for designing this. It shouldn't like it doesn't need to be a purist like decentralized anarchist version of a DAO for it to be interesting. And like nobody's going to be like, well, you're not really decentralized because John can just do whatever you want. Well, yeah, that's what we're here for though as well. That's what this is.
Yeah, and you could also have like people like talking about the world in here, right? So
fanfic
theories on what's going to happen as a post, and then like nothing actually has to be voted on or come from it either.
No, but so, you might be in a campaign, you might be playing a session, and you might pull from that if you find an opportunity, like, oh, this could be where this one person's theory could be worked in.
Yeah, you can have like tags and stuff too for it. Be like, this is like a pitch, and then like this is a pitch, and then this is like just commentary, and then shit like that. this one's like weapons pitch, and this one's NPC
Yeah.
pitch.
Because
Stuff like
we
that.
can already mint our own lot. We can already create our own specific tags that are just in that layer. So we can just, you know, yeah.
NPC.
Now the tags could, in the future, actually once Den has smart contracts built in, where you can then hook into a layer to do stuff. You could do something like if there's an artwork request tag that gets a minimum of this many votes, because the tags you vote on them too, or if it reaches consensus after this many votes, then it triggers it to actually be created. So then people could pitch something, but it doesn't actually send a work order to the AI until the tag is voted on and consensus is like, yeah, we want. I'm not sure if that's necessary, but stuff like that you could do.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's simmer on this. I'm gonna close this out.
Yeah, it's a good idea. 2.5 hours. Holy shit.
Yeah, but no, this last 45 minutes was productive.
All the good stuff comes at the end. That's how brainstorming always works. You
come in.
You gotta do an hour and a half of sitting on stuff to get 45 minutes of good stuff.
That's how this would work if we were meeting up at a coffee shop in real life, having a meetup. So whatever.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I used to meditate for like a long time, and all your breakthroughs come in the last 30 minutes of like a 2-hour meditation.
I feel like the beginning of a lot of brainstorming is just like, oh, this would be cool and that would be cool, and oh, this is neat and that's a good idea. But then you get to the point where like, okay, but how would it really work though?
It's really like a bunch of people, I think, trying to get group mind for the first hour and a half, and then after we have like a group mind, a collective thought, a collective area space we're playing in, then we can play and come up with ideas. But yeah,
cool.
I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway,
cool. Yeah, maybe
ooh, I like that too, because then people can submit like hand-drawn art. So it doesn't all have to be AI.
It doesn't have
art,
to all be
they
AI.
have the option.
Yeah, it doesn't all have to be AI at all.
Cool.
What we can probably do, since Den.social is going to be wanting to create premium layers or some sort of subscription only layers already, like this is something we want to do, and we need to build that from the ground up and beta test it and prototype it and all that. We could get a steep discount or even a freebie for the very first one, just so Den has a premium layer for people to subscribe to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, that kind of thing.
For sure.
That's what I'm going to pitch tomorrow. Is is everybody okay with if we do this model where there's premium layers and people have to buy them, literally purchase them with like a debit card or something? Can we get a freebie as like the very first one, just to get it going, to make sure that it works right? And the answer is probably going to be yes. It would be beneficial to everyone.
Yeah, sounds good.
I don't think anybody would be jealous or upset over that, basically, you know.
There's gonna be enough kinks in it that it'll be fine. Yeah, let me know about the server too, if you get that going.
Yeah.
To mess around in. And then also, like, I mean, like, the site's kind of coming together. I think I have it looking about how I want it to look. So let me know about that. Is the Den.social call tomorrow
3
on
p.m.
StreamYard, or is it a phone call?
It is StreamYard. Yeah. You don't have to like have your video on or anything. It's it's just a meeting. It's literally a governance call.
It's really going to get in the way of my 420 plans, but all right.
Just don't have your camera or your microphone on and only chime in whenever you feel like it. It's fine. It's literally, we even say that usually is if you want to keep your camera off and just, be on like a call that way, then you can totally do that. Yeah. But it's at 3 and it's not going to, it'll end before 420.
Yeah, but 420 is the day, not the time. That's the magic of
that's true.
That's the magic of 420 is that it's like 5 o'clock all day. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yep. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just another day.
There you go.
Cool. All right. Well, you know what I'm going to say, John. Let's get out of here. This is a song by Y'all Weird called "Enter the Dragon," and I think it's pretty cool. We'll see you next time. Hey, and actually, thanks for the overtime, because that actually kind of inspired me to do some things that I was had on the back burner for a little while. So
For sure. Let me know what I can do to help.
Yep. Likewise. See everybody next week.
See ya.
Cheers.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. Adaptable approach is palpable if this animal is fallible. But that conclusion is laughable, so with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now?